Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Bickerstaff podcast. My name is Joe Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and this is now episode 138. In this episode, we are going to debate whether or not Steph Curry receives biased media coverage, Zion's recent setback, Sabonis wanting out of Indiana, Jazz hiring Danny Ainge, Isaiah Thomas's Lakers debut, Kyrie's return, and more. A quick Patreon shout out to Matthew Jimenez, It's Black Ace, Anthony, BJ, PJs, Mario, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Ruben, Brian, Ricky, E, Enzo, Sean Solis, Sean, Muffins, John, Sean Triplet, Court Cousins, Ben Mack, P. Dot, George, Hikari, Mateen, Dave 2 Freedom, and Jay Aqua. No more good old Jay Aqua. We're not doing it anymore.
Nah, man.
He's mad because he disrespected Hackensack. If you guys don't know, that's where we're from, and that's why he's frustrated about
Aqua,
that.
I'm waiting on my apology message, bro.
We always forget this to begin the show, but give our podcast a rating and review. It helps us out a lot in the algorithm and how people can find us. Also, drop a like on this full episode video on YouTube. Let's get it to 100 likes and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bickerstaff Podcast, on Twitter at Bickerstaff Pod. We're trying to really grow our following on Twitter, so that would mean a lot. And today it is Andrew's birthday, episode 138, December 18th, the day Andrew Velez was born.
Shout out. It's going to be a great day. Going to be even better show. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yeah, show them your shirt right there.
Oh, so quick shout out to my girl. Like I said, she's probably not going to watch this, but she did right for my birthday. She made me this shirt. Says the guy on the right, which is pretty funny. Yeah, definitely do. Now, she was really cool for making this. And, hey, this is a one of one. Hopefully I get you guys some shirts, so maybe it's a 3 of 3, but nah, she did her thing with these.
Yeah, I joked about it before the show, but she got merch before us.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she got you merch before we got our fans merch.
She said it must have taken her like 4 or 5 shirts to iron it out and make it look clean, but nah, it does. It feels nice and it looks nice, so that's all that matters.
I was thinking about this the other day because as we've been growing, companies have been reaching out to us, for sponsorships or, to be a part of their network and stuff like that. And a lot of the deals are bullshit. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the deals are disappointing. A lot of the deals are these companies trying to take advantage of creators that are up and coming and are desperate for money. And thankfully, we're not in a position to where we're desperate for money. So we don't take these deals. And it had me thinking about all the promises that these networks make these podcasts or creators that they never fulfill on. And I would say to everybody, if you're into content creation and you're trying to do this, just go the independent route and don't try and act like you need a network to back you, because this entire operation, this is why I feel so prideful about it. This was built from scratch. We are nobodies. Like, in the grand scheme of things, we don't have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media that we told to listen to our podcast. The entire growth of this podcast was organic, from people just finding us and liking us and not knowing who we are, but liking what we say and then continuing to tune in. We didn't spend anything on promotion. It has all been 100% organically built. And I think that's the best way. You don't need to manufacture an audience to have an audience or to build one. You just have to be patient and stay disciplined. And I feel very prideful about that, because our podcast is more successful than people who have podcasts that supposedly are, big time names.
Wojnarowski. Us being ranked over Woj.
Yeah, we were ranked ahead of Woj this past week. And, Woj probably consistently gets more, downloads than us. I would imagine he does.
I would hope so.
Yeah. But for that one moment, we were ahead, and it's like, we built this from the ground up. It's not like, and it's not even just like, on some one thing wonder thing, because there are podcasts that launch, they get into the top of the charts, and then they just fizzle out. We have consistently stayed around the 30s and 40s range because, of our fans, and because you guys like us. And
definitely,
we proved ourselves to you, and we're glad that you guys choose us to entertain you, to teach you about the game. Despite what our clips on TikTok may make you assume we aren't a hot take machine, because that's what people think we are. We are not that. And I'm glad about that. And this is going to be a great show.
Definitely.
COVID has taken over the NBA, kind of like the NFL. And if I were to list out all the names that have been affected by COVID, we'd be here for a while in the NBA, that players that are in protocols. But I want to talk about the biggest story revolving around this. The Brooklyn Nets had so many players on COVID. James Harden was in protocols. Kevin Durant is now in protocols. And it was reported by Shams that Kyrie Irving is returning to the Brooklyn Nets and he's going to play away games and practice. What are your thoughts on this? What does this mean for the Brooklyn Nets? I'll start with you, Riv.
Well, it's kind of hypocritical of them. You know, in a sense, you think about it, they're desperate right now. You know, with all these guys, every team is desperate right now. You know, my team, the Bulls, we lost a lot of guys to the COVID, so I understand what they're going through. And with Kevin Durant, he just got hit with COVID, so that's going to be huge. But I think right now at the moment, they're looking at it as we just want to continue to win games. You know, we want to continue to be competitive, and we're willing to let bygones be bygones and let Kyrie participate. Now, putting Kyrie's safety in hand is kind of crazy. Now, and Kyrie, he's accepted this, but still, I still feel like I'm still a little on edge because at the same time, you know, you're still a part-time worker. You're still not riding for your guys, so you're still not fully participating in the act of winning with your team, going through the process with your team, traveling with your team, going home, playing for the home crowd with your team, you know, and then essentially getting to the playoffs and then trying to win it all for your team. I still think you're being a little bit selfish, but this is just an act of desperation for the Nets. And I feel like they're just doing this because right now they're down bad. You know, a lot of these health and protocols is hitting their team, so they're one of the teams that hit bad. And Kyrie's somebody who can save them. And also, if you look at it in this aspect, they can really, for Harden and Kevin Durant, sit them on road games. You know, give them a break, especially Kevin Durant, who's needed it after the couple weeks he's had, the monster performances he's had. He needs a break on the road, so Kyrie can help in that situation too. So it's a win-win, I guess, for them. You know, they need the help. And right now, Kyrie just wants to play ball.
This is pretty interesting because I wonder if they allowed Kyrie Irving to come back because they had some prior knowledge that Kevin Durant was going to be in COVID protocol. You understand how, like, yesterday they broke the news that Kyrie Irving was coming back only for road games, but then now this morning we see that Kevin Durant's into COVID protocols. I wonder it's because they don't want to be like or have a Bulls type situation where they're going to postpone these games. So now they're going to be on the road. They have the extra player. They have the 8 guys. So now they can actually, you know, get back onto the court. So that's a concern of mine for them. And hypocritical was a good word. And I think that you look at the Nets organization, they were pretty sound. They were pretty sound, pretty solid. That Kyrie Irving was not going to return to the squad until he was vaccinated because he was being very selfish in his approach at that. Whether he had any kind of ulterior motive, that's completely different than the basketball side of it. Now Kyrie Irving's coming back, and again, you did not get the resolution that you wanted, but then you understand that it is Kyrie Irving. He is one of the best basketball players in the NBA. You want to have him back at all costs. So now, you know, you lose your best player in Kevin Durant. So you let Kyrie Irving basically off the hook in that sense. So that's where I kind of have a little bit of issue with the Brooklyn Nets. But in terms of the entire NBA, it's tough. They play in arenas, a confined space. The contact is very one-on-one right in your face. Like football, but it's a little bit more open. A lot of their stadiums are not domes. All arenas in the NBA are closed off. So that contact is much more direct than it is in the NFL. We're seeing it spike up in the NFL still, but in the NBA, it's going to be just as bad. The Bulls are completely shut down. I believe they have 9 players in protocol.
And even to piggyback off that, you know, we went to the Knicks game. We're all closed up, tight, next to each other, you know. Exactly. No mask on. Like, we're together.
Yeah, so you're not talking about the fans. We're solely just talking about the players.
The fans, we were all hunched up. I'm talking about we're at the top of the arena, and we're all hunched up together watching the game. So it's like
holding hands.
Yeah, damn near. We might as well be.
No, I know what you're saying. It's like, listen, I understand it's about making money. You just had a full season and a half of being completely confined, no fans, no type of revenue in the sense of fans coming to see you play. So I can understand that they don't want to stop the games because they need this type of money. They already lost millions and millions of dollars with the COVID, everything that had gone down in that sense. But safety should be number one, and that at the forefront of every discussion, not just the safety of the players, but the safety of the fans as well. as much as we want to be there, as much as we want to see basketball being played, there's very few things that bring us more joy than watching sports. Health is, you can't do anything without your health. And I feel like that needs to be at the forefront. That needs to be into consideration much more than just basketball.
Being vaccinated or not being vaccinated becomes such a political thing.
Yep.
In my family, my brother and my father, they're advocates for getting vaccinated, and they are two people that look down upon people who don't get vaccinated and feel like liberty should be stripped if you're not vaccinated. So I deal with people who feel that way, and they are entitled to feel that way. I personally don't feel that way. I am vaccinated. I recommend people to get the booster shot, but if you don't want to get vaccinated, I am not opposed to that. I think everybody should believe in what they want to believe in. I'm happy this is happening. I'm happy Kyrie is back. The Brooklyn Nets need this.
Yeah.
He averaged 27 last year, shot 50, 40, 90. Forget about all the politics and all the, stuff about health and safety, even though that's a very important thing. Just from a basketball sense, this is going to be so fun to watch. And I think it's important that Kyrie Irving came back now, because when we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets, we know that with Harden and with KD, they can go far. But we don't know if they can beat Milwaukee or Golden State or Miami with just Harden and KD. Definitely Chicago, they can beat.
I was thinking, he definitely did not say Chicago on purpose.
Chicago, they can beat. I'm not even worried about that, not even one bit. But with Kyrie back, it's better that he came back now, because if he came back 3/4 into the year, now you have to build that chemistry up again. Coming back a quarter into the season, KD and Harden and him are going to have a chance to build up chemistry once everybody comes back from COVID protocols. And I think it's going to maximize their chances to win a championship, because regardless of what everybody is saying, this year is a make or break year for the Brooklyn Nets. KD and Kyrie have been there for 3 seasons. It doesn't feel like it, but they've been there for 3 seasons. The first season, KD sat out. Kyrie damn near missed the whole year. The second year, KD came back. You got Harden in there. You brought in Harden, but the 3 of them never really played on the court. Now, this year's a 3rd year. You started off the year with this Kyrie Irving dilemma. James Harden is due for an extension. He hasn't signed it yet. This is a make or break year for the Brooklyn Nets. And if they don't win a championship, Nets fans and NBA fans are going to look at the team as a major disappointment, regardless of the situations and circumstances that have plagued this team. So getting Kyrie now is the best case scenario for the Nets, and I can't wait to watch Kyrie play. And it's quite ironic that a guy who is unvaccinated, the Nets are going to rely on, and the guys that are vaccinated, the Nets can't rely on because they're in COVID protocols.
And on a sole basketball standpoint, I'm sorry to cut you off, Riv. I know you want to say something, but in a sole basketball sense, you're 100% right in the terms of, if these 3 guys cannot get a championship to Brooklyn, it's a failure. Because all anyone has ever spoken about with this big 3 is that it is the most skillful, most talented big 3 ever assembled together. At the minimum, it's the best big 3 offensively we've ever seen. You have one of the best scorers, if not the best scorer of all time, in Kevin Durant. You have James Harden, who is just a machine in all aspects of his game, outside of defense, but most importantly, his offense. And Kyrie Irving, who's one of the most prolific scorers at the point guard position in NBA history. All 3 of those guys together should be enough to get a championship. I understand that the depth that they have right now doesn't match up to a Milwaukee or the depth of a Miami. But in terms of star potential, star talent, there's no one that's on Brooklyn's level. So it would be inexcusable if they could not get that job done.
I know you're not about to defend the Bulls.
You don't know what I was going to say.
I'd hope it's not that.
What I was going to say,
because you're losing in 4 with Kyrie there. Losing 5 without him.
All 3 of us here before the season started had the Nets as our number 1 team in the East.
Wait a minute. First of all, Kyrie and Harden are both free agents at the end of the year. If they decline, which they're probably going to decline because obviously you want more money. So this is, like you said, this is a make or break year for the Nets. You said all the right things from a basketball standpoint. We want to see Kyrie in the NBA. We want to see him play. The Nets are. It's hard for me to say they're the best big three because you have to have the hardware to be considered one of the best.
I agree with that.
It's not just he's talented. They're together. They're the best. No, you have to have the success. You have to have the hardware. You have to have the winning mentality. So it's hard for me to say they're the best, but no, I'm not defending. I was going to say, you said in the beginning, KD and Harden, we don't know we know they can't beat Miami if it's just KD and Harden. We know they can't beat. No, we know.
I don't know about Miami.
No. We know they can't beat Milwaukee.
Yes,
with
Miami.
KD.
Why can't they beat Milwaukee?
Look at Harden. Just look at him. Look at him.
He's
just
getting rude.
Look at him. We know this Harden right now.
He's fourth all time in 3-pointers made.
Cool.
He's gonna be third after this.
We know right now this KD backpacking because it's basically what he did in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he did.
Cannot beat Miami or Milwaukee.
Well, KD backpacking took Milwaukee to 7.
Like, I'm not saying that Miami's a bad team by any means. Obviously, defensively, they're like that. But why are you grouping Miami with Milwaukee in that sense?
I'm not grouping Miami with Milwaukee. I just think KD is just not enough to beat a defensive machine like Miami.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, you have every right to believe what you believe.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And then talk about the Warriors. We're not even going to speak on that part.
Okay.
We're solely talking games.
And that's why I said.
Right.
You're saying that the Warriors will get the Nets?
The Warriors, with this Kevin Durant and this Harden right now, 5 games Warriors
But
easily.
I'm glad
but
that
now
you
we're
feel
talking
that
about
way.
the big three, though.
Oh, the big three. We all know they were the number one team with the big three.
I think so, too.
I'm glad that you feel that way. But I was talking about Chicago. I know that they probably can't beat the Bucks or the Warriors.
Is this Harden?
Or the Heat.
With Harden and KD, I think the Bulls could beat them. With Harden, yes, they can.
Absolutely not.
Yes, they
say
can.
absolutely not. With your guy right now, it's ridiculous.
He hasn't been ass.
But he hasn't been
DeMar
Harden.
DeRozan isn't good in the playoffs.
LeBron is not here anymore. Please.
He wasn't good even when LeBron wasn't playing him.
I mean,
it's that one series, though.
No, there was multiple series. His
against Paul George. When Paul George locked him.
Facts,
I remember that series
facts.
very vividly. But
Paul George isn't a regular player, though.
And the other times was basically LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. One series outside of LeBron.
And then he played the Heat. I don't remember how good he was in that series. But
he's always averaged in every single series at least 20 points.
Yeah, and then like under 40% from the field, which is horrible.
That is pretty bad.
Doesn't Harden do that?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he does a little bit over? Like 42, 41, 43?
Don't compare DeRozan ever to Harden.
No, but
don't compare
ever. This season's legitimately the only time in NBA, like in history, that
nobody's
you can compare the two.
And DeMar's not even better than Harden if you add in playmaking, and rebounding, and all that other stuff. Like,
rebounding, they're the same guy.
Come on.
Just because one guy rebounds more because he's the big man for the team. Come on, bro. Don't do that.
Who's the big man for the team?
James Harden
is a big man for the team?
He's not a big man, but DeMar has big men on his team, bro. Like, it's like, like DeMar has big men on his team that actually gets rebounds, bro. Like, come on.
But
maybe your point would be valid if Harden didn't do it in Houston as well, but like he has a track record.
We're talking about right now, though.
All right,
because
when we talk about Houston, James Harden, he's a different animal. We're talking about right now. Brooklyn James Harden. I mean, this guy.
His PER is better than DeMar DeRozan still. So like, I don't know what you're talking
about. The playmaking is what separates it. That's
the playmaking is adorable. The playmaking is 1,000% adorable. It's
adorable.
Cute.
What the hell?
It's awesome. It's incredible. But I know you don't believe James Harden has played better than DeMar DeRozan at this point.
I 100% believe.
It's like, bro,
really?
Yeah,
like you watch both of them play. You truly believe, like this is like you really believe. Yeah, Harden has definitely been better than DeMar this year. You think so?
Harden's worst is DeMar's best.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah. Harden's worst is DeMar's best. Harden not being okay is DeMar being elite.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then Harden being elite, DeMar is not even in the same stratosphere.
So playmaking, obviously Harden gets. I think scoring, DeMar has been better than this year.
Yeah, okay.
Efficiency across the board, DeMar has been better this year. Rebounding, they're probably around.
They're shooting around the same.
Rebounding, they're probably around the same.
Harden probably takes away more though.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Rebounding, they're probably around the same.
Harden's averaging 2 more rebounds.
Yeah. So and then
5 clean assists.
And then in the fourth quarter, I don't think it's a comparison who's been better this year. I think that's been clear.
Correct. He's been the best
DeMar DeRozan. Yeah. So what are we saying here? I mean, I'm confused.
I don't know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say DeMar is better than James Harden?
He's been playing better than James Harden.
I don't care what he's been doing. He's not better than Harden.
Like, why isn't that a valid statement?
And he hasn't been better than Harden this year.
Oh my!
When I account for everything Harden does on the court, but he hasn't been better than him.
The efficiency is not there this season.
Bro's getting backpacked. Come on.
And he's averaging like 7 less points than his normal.
He's been getting backpacked all year.
It just
getting
helped.
packed is averaging 22.
The only thing I'll say
10.
is
It's like the same thing we do with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is having a smooth, clean 24 and 10, but it's not. It's not like when we see.
We
it,
know. I know
like,
it's not hard. I know this isn't Harden. I know, but he's going to be Harden by the end of the year. I hope you know that.
See, but then how? If history has said anything, it should be the opposite. Harden is usually one of the best players in the NBA come regular season.
You've told us he drops off in the playoffs. You've told us that. You've come out your mouth.
No, he drops off, but he doesn't drop off as much as I think he does.
So wait. So what makes you think? What makes you think he's going to get better from this in the playoffs? When he's like you said, historically, DeMar has dropped off. Fair to say. So has James Harden. So what makes you think he's going to get better than this?
Oh my God,
this right now. Like honestly,
you know, the fact that I'm even arguing this right now is a waste of my time.
It's a valid question.
But I'll answer it anyway.
Thank you.
DeMar's dropping off. No. Let me answer. DeMar is an all-star normally.
Yes.
Dropping off when he drops off in the playoffs, he becomes Tobias Harris, and you have been very vocal about Tobias. He's mid. Harden is superstar, MVP, top 3, top 5 player in the regular season. In the playoffs, he's top 10 player. He's not top 5.
Wait, this year he's been top 5? What, this year he's been top 5?
No, he hasn't been top 5.
Let's go. You didn't answer the question.
Has Harden been top 10 this season?
He's probably been on the fringe of it.
So he's been a fringe. He's been a high-end all-star this year.
Yeah.
Oh, so let me ask you.
That's better than what DeMar DeRozan has been his entire career.
You're not answering my question. We're talking about this year. You keep going in the past.
All right, I'm gonna name you a couple guys. You tell me if you're taking this guy or
this guy. We don't even call him Harden no more. It's this guy.
Kevin Durant.
I'm taking KD.
Trae Young.
Trae.
Giannis. Steph Curry.
Steph.
Jokic.
I'm taking Jokic.
Luka. PG.
Harden.
Ooh, that's spicy. That's spicy. I won't say DeMar because I know where you stand on that one.
Yeah, Harden.
LeBron.
Embiid.
If we're taking in his injuries into it, I'm taking Harden.
Levine.
Damn.
DeMar's been better than Levine.
That's tough.
So how you gonna say, this guy?
He's been bugging. Levine's been. If you're not gonna give credit to DeMar because DeMar and Levine have just been the best duo in basketball.
I think Levine's better than DeMar though.
I agree.
Okay, that's fair.
I agree.
I'm taking Levine right now.
Donovan Mitchell.
Devin Booker.
Harden.
Chris Paul.
Now. Harden.
Devin Booker you're not entertaining it?
I'm not entertaining it.
Okay. All right. So how many guys was that right there?
I think 10, 11, something like that.
I told you he's fringe. He's fringe.
So what is he going to drop off to?
He's not going to drop off to nothing. He's going to get better.
Tatum?
Respectfully.
Harden.
Oh.
Confidently?
Yes.
Wow. You're being nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, Tatum's been bugging.
Harden's problem is that his conditioning hasn't gotten. He hasn't gotten his conditioning under him. He's going to. He
had a full off season,
bro.
You're right.
He had a rehab.
The hamstring. Correct.
He's going to get better. I'm telling you. And then when he does, look, I told you last year.
Is it crazy to say LaMelo has been playing better?
What the heck?
I'm asking.
Anyway, stop. Come on.
LaMelo.
Bro. John Moran has.
I mean, they essentially have the same exact stat line.
No, he hasn't.
I think you know what I think you're doing, and I think you're not looking into account these other guys' situations. Like I think you just look like James.
What are the Nets, bro? Their spacing is trash.
Their spacing is trash. Yet look at the best player in the world that they play for. They play, Kevin Durant is on the court.
You know that Steve Nash staggers their minutes, and sometimes Harden's on the court with no spacing at all.
Yo, I'm just saying, you guys scoffed at LaMelo. LaMelo with not Kevin Durant is averaging about the same points per game.
We're gonna kind of scoff again, right?
He's averaging the same points per game. He's averaging more rebounds. He's averaging one less assists.
I'm not entertaining that
LaMelo's having a great year. I'm not going to entertain it.
All right.
I'm not entertaining that either.
And the John Moran thing, the Grizzlies have a bottom 20 defense with John Moran on the floor. The Grizzlies have been so good these past 2 weeks because their defense has been number one without John Moran. So don't tell me John Moran has been better than Harden because the Grizzlies are playing better without John Moran.
That's a good point.
Fair. It's fair to say.
Well, let's move on and let's talk about your guy. Steph Curry. Steph Curry passed the all-time three-pointers record.
Oh. I thought you meant like MVP. I'm just like
Steph Curry is now number one in all-time three-pointers made, and he passed Ray Allen when he made his 2,974 three-pointer. It was at MSG. Steph Curry was like, I love MSG for embracing me and letting me have that moment. And that's what Knicks fans are all about, man. That's what the Garden's all about. That's why superstars want to come here and play.
It's the house that Steph
built. It's the best arena in the world, and that's why we're going to get superstars sooner rather than later. Steph Curry was pictured with Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, and an awesome moment.
Crazy.
I'm thinking about getting it and framing it and putting it somewhere here.
They don't get the right to frame that in here.
And he's a newfound Steph Curry fan.
What I want to ask you guys is, we know he beat the record, but how many do you think he's going to finish with ultimately, and will his record ever be broken?
It's crazy because we had a segment. Drew asked me about this before, and I didn't think into the account that he's still going to be playing for a couple more years. So, I did a little boggling in my mind. I think he's going to be in his prime for 2-3 more seasons. I think he's going to do that.
Give him a break. Give him a break. Give him a break. Give him a break. Give him a break.
Chill off me. 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 Chill off me.
Bro said boggling in my mind.
Yeah, you didn't have to do it.
I said what? Bro didn't even say thinking. He said boggling.
Chill. Yo, you know what's crazy?
I mean, he knew. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's crazy. The nerve of you to laugh, though. The nerve of you to laugh after the stuff you were just saying pre-short is ridiculous.
Come on.
But like I was saying, I was bugging. But like I was saying, I did a little math in my head, and I think he'll be in his prime for 2-3 more seasons, and he'll hit about 300 more threes. Yo, I think this guy has a chance to go north of 400, bro. I'm 4,000. Pardon me. It's ridiculous.
Oh, easy. That's clean.
He could possibly hit 5,000 made 3-pointers, bro. And the season isn't over yet. He has ways to go. So I think for Steph, 5,000 it could be easy for him. I don't know if anybody could break it. They was breaking it down. For Luka, I think it had to be about 16 seasons of 250 made threes. Trae Young had to be about the same thing. Dame, it had to be 8 more seasons of that. I think this is one of the untouchable records. I don't think this record could ever be broken. And I think Steph Curry has truly cemented himself, like he said, as the greatest shooter to ever play in this NBA.
Steph Curry is the greatest shooter we'll ever see. Even when he's done, I don't know if there'll ever be another guy that'll touch what he's done. Sure, we'll see people that are going to be compared to Steph Curry because he's going to be the new Michael Jordan for three-point shooting. He is by far and away the best three-point shooter ever. And in terms of what number do I think he'll probably get to, if he turns into that Ray Allen type player, the way that Ray Allen did towards the back end of his career, what he did with Miami the last couple of seasons that he had with the Celtics, it's not impossible that, let's say after these 2, 3, maybe even 4 more years of being in his prime where
he'll be 33.
He's probably going to hit upwards of 300 for those next 3 seasons. So we're looking at, that's around an extra 1,000 threes right there at the minimum, 1,200 threes. So already he's getting pushed into that 4,000 with just those years. So now let's say he has an extra 3 seasons after that with being Ray Allen. But like you've mentioned, he doesn't want to have that type of role. He wants to either be Steph Curry or that's it. He doesn't want to have be a role player. But people start to realize once they come towards the end of their career that, man, I don't want to give this game up. I love this game too much that anything to what it takes to be on this court, I'll do. So I'm not going to rule out the fact that he's going to do that or not. But, he makes his own decisions. We'll see what happens when that point in time comes. I do think it's possible he hits 45 to 4,900. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Again, with 3 or 4 seasons left in his prime, we're looking at 1,200 threes potentially. And that's already eclipsing 4,200. And if he takes that role as a Ray Allen, it's not impossible he gets close to 5.
I was doing the math, and he makes 3.8 threes per game for his career. So that's not even counting all the years in his prime, because there are some years where
early on,
he wasn't what he is now. He plays 69 games a year on average. If you do the math and you multiply that, that's 786 threes over the course of the next 3 years. He's at basically 3,000 right now. So over the next 3 years, he could be at 3,800 threes around there. And if he plays at a high level, 4 or 5 years, Yeah, he's gonna touch 4,000 plus easily. He's gonna touch 3,500 plus easily, and it's a great milestone. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that I have ever seen in my lifetime, that we have ever seen in our lifetime, and I don't think the record's gonna be broken until 40 years from now. And I say 40 because right now I'm 22. When I have a kid in a couple years, when he turns 20, my kid's gonna break it. My kid's gonna break the record. So, I'm gonna have him in the gym early every day. He's gonna be shooting the ball by the time he's 3, and he's gonna be, I'm gonna school secondary. It's gonna be gym first.
I like that.
I'm gonna have him grinding at 6 a.m. But yeah, I think this might be one of those unbreakable records. But because of the volume that players shoot now, it might be broken maybe by like a Trae Young. Trae Young could definitely do it.
See, but again, Reggie Miller and Steph Curry just sat down and had this interview. They would have to average 253s for 16 seasons. Trae Young, Luka Doncic. These guys would have to be the model of consistency.
You have to also remember, like he said, because he said the average was 3.8, but I'm looking at his prime years where he started.
Oh, it's at a minimum of like 5. Exactly.
4. Like this is made. 5 threes made. 4 threes. 4, 5, 5, 5 right now. So it's like, and he takes about 11, 10, 10, 12, 10, 13, 14. Like these are the volumes. That's going to stay around the same. So Trae Young is probably, he's probably going to up his volume too at a certain point. So
Trae's at 2.7 made threes right now.
Trae is also, Steph Curry is also not the distributor that Trae Young is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I feel like those kind of numbers will kind of lean towards fold of the century.
Oh my god!
So that's where I think that Steph Curry will have the edge in terms of the all-time record, because Trae Young is so pass-oriented. But obviously, Trae Young's gonna get his when he's gonna. You violated.
My fault.
Yo, that's funny. But it's all good though. It's just a little bit of water. But let me look at Trae Young's 3-point attempts right now. Early in his career, he's averaging. First year was 1.9. Next year after that, it was 3.4. That's the highest his career. Then 2.2, 2.7. So it's like he's not even coming close.
Talk about Trae?
Yes.
He just started.
Fair enough. But
that was Steph in the beginning was at 2. Then he made 2. Then he was at 2 again. So Steph started off slow.
Fair enough, but I feel like Trae Young's better earlier in his career than Steph Curry was.
But yeah.
So I feel like it's not unreasonable to think that.
How many threes did Trae hit his rookie year?
3, like the number sound.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Steph, his first 2 years didn't hit 200 threes.
He hit 156.
Steph, his first year, hit 166. Then year 2, he hit 151.
And Trae regressed last season in terms of threes. He went 156, 205, and then 136 last season.
Trae hit in his second year
also
hit
72
more.
games.
In his second year, hit more than Steph. Steph is at went 166, 151, and then 55.
Steph also was injury ridden his early part of his career.
And all that to say he still broke the record is insane.
But Steph Curry, that's where we got to give praise to Steph. Steph is a different beast. Steph just got into that groove that 14-15 season and just hasn't looked back since.
All right, we had to take a small break in the show because Riv poured water on her laptops.
Don't say it like that.
That's basically what you
did. What you did.
You might as well have unscrewed the cap and just poured it all over our laptops.
Bro, I just bought this Mac, bro. I'm about to have water damage.
You about to own
Would they be able to see that? Because it's clear. Obviously.
Of course they saw it.
They did see it, bro.
It was obviously a mistake.
I need someone to clip your face when you realize that you folded.
I saw his face. His eyes were boggled, bro.
Because I thought it was like about to go everywhere, bro. I was like, no, not on the max, bro. I was like, damn.
Bro, he did it like 3/4 into the Steph Curry segment, the 3-point segment. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, bro, I swear, like, I can't even think about this no more. I'm like, nah, like, he really poured water on my Mac.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, bro, you're gonna have to open it that way now. You know what I'm saying?
You got away from us, bro.
Yeah, if it drops, it's gonna be on yours.
Guy's a clown. It's all right, bro.
We're gonna stay on the topic of Steph Curry, and the reason why is because he is in the MVP race right now. NBA just released their ladder, and KD is number 1, deservedly so. Shouldn't be any other way.
Yep.
Steph Curry's 2 though, but throughout the course of this year and in years past, it feels like Steph Curry gets a lot of biased media coverage. The media loves Steph Curry. They never try to show him in a negative light. His bad games get glossed over while other superstars' bad games get shown in the limelight, and they get discredited for all their achievements because of these games. The same doesn't happen to Steph Curry. So in this MVP race, I think Nikola Jokic is having a better season than Steph Curry, but Steph Curry is still in front of him in the race. And I think even Giannis, you can argue, is having a better season than Curry. So why do you think people think Steph Curry is automatically should be placed in the top 2 of the race, or they think it's a 2-man race? Why do you think it is? And do you think that Curry does get biased coverage?
Well, for starters, I do think, and this is a Steph fan telling you this, I do think he gets a lot of bias.
What?
Yeah, he does get, in the media especially, he gets a little bit too biased. Like I was watching Zach Lowe show some love to the Joker for the MVP race, and I think Steph gets that because just of the fandom of Steph. The people love Steph. He's a fan favorite. People love his game. And he does you're right. He's been playing mid for about 3 weeks.
He had a 30 ball.
It was an inefficient 30 ball, but
that's just been the season for him.
Yeah, he hasn't been. I think, and I've said this before. I don't think Steph has been. I think Steph has been great, but I don't think Steph has been last year's Steph. I don't think Steph has been elite by any stretch. But I think the reason why he is number 2 or he was number 1 is because his team is winning at such a high rate. He's the only star on his team. Technically, you know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of really good players. Draymond, we can consider a star too, but I think when people view them, it's like a really good team, and then that one superstar. So I think that's why he's been getting. But I think the Joker, he deserves MVP love, but his team just isn't that good. Even though when he's on the court, they're one of the best teams in the league, and when he's off the court, they're like one of the worst. They're not winning. MVP's not really going to show love. It hasn't shown love to the guys who are on unless you're doing something historical like a Westbrook triple-double. And the Joker already did something historical last year. With Giannis, I think he's creeping, but I think the voter fatigue might hurt him. I think he should definitely creep up. But I think people do look at Steph in the media and they get a little too biased towards him. They don't, highlight the bad games or the horrible games. Like that game against Philly wasn't talked about enough when Philly really clamped down on Steph and made him have a really bad game. It wasn't talked about enough. So I think a lot of the times that does happen, but that's just the reputation Steph has built up in the league, being that guy who gets, protected a lot. But I think sometimes he does deserve it, but other times it is a little bit too biased.
You look at these last couple of games that Steph Curry's played. I'm talking like a span of 5 games. 38% from the field, 42% from the field, 40% from the field, 30% from the field, 42% from the field. Steph Curry's efficiency this year is at a career low. His three-point percentage is 39%, and believe it or not, that is a career low for Steph Curry. Now, to the question of, does he get biased media coverage? Of course. For years, it's been like this. But when you revolutionize the game of basketball, you get a little bit more leniency towards your game. LeBron, KD, Jokic, Giannis. I would take Jokic out of this conversation for my point that I'm about to make. Their games have been seen throughout history in terms of you have LeBron, who's a bully ball type player. We've seen that in the game. A bully ball type player whose mid-range game is not that of a Kevin Durant or a Michael Jordan, but it's still solid enough. But there's pieces that you could take apart to it. But we've seen it in history. Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan-esque, except he could shoot the basketball, and he has the length. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shaquille O'Neal, except he is just a more physical freak in him in terms of speed. We've seen these throughout history. We haven't seen a Steph Curry, and I think that weighs heavy on the media's thought process. And the fact that no one's seen a 6'3" guy shoot the lights out of the ball, have the ball handling that he does, has done nothing in his personal life to give any type of media outlet any kind of substance to try and minimize what he's done as an individual. You look at LeBron. People say that his hand in politics is too much. He needs to stick to basketball. The dumbest thing I've ever heard, but that's what people say. Kevin Durant, his decision. Giannis. I don't understand how you could criticize Giannis personally, but they find a way to. Steph Curry has just kept to himself, kept team-oriented basketball at the forefront of his career, and has been consistent in his approach at basketball. There's nothing that the media can try to do to make Steph Curry look bad. And Curry has done a great job of protecting his image. But I feel like that's why it's a little bit more biased because, again, he revolutionized the way that people play basketball today. And you just look at the numbers of when he first came into the league in three-point attempts to now, it has tripled in the number of attempts per game per NBA team. So I feel like that's why he gets a little bit of protection by the media. In terms of Jokic, it also does not help Jokic. He plays in Denver. That plays a huge part in how media perceives a player. We spoke about it on last week's show with Rudy Gobert, or at least I spoke into it a little bit. He's playing in Utah. These aren't huge markets that people not like us who care about the game that are watching these small market teams because small market teams have excellent basketball players. For mainstream media, all they're pushing out is Steph Curry, LeBron James, who's in LA, Kevin Durant, who's in Brooklyn, Giannis, who, a special case, who's in Milwaukee. He deserves, and Giannis also does a great job of selling his personality. Jokic really is I play basketball. I'm not worried about the extracurricular noise. I'm just worried about being the best ball player that I can be, similar to Rudy Gobert. They're not winning popularity contests. They only care about being the true hoopers that they want to be. So there's a lot of things that go into Steph Curry getting biased media. I'm fine with it to a degree. I don't like the scrutinizing game to game, like what I just did with the field goal percentages. It's like I'm just showing you Steph Curry hasn't been the all-world Steph Curry that he has been in the past. But again, there's valid reason why we don't shit-talk Steph Curry.
Steph Curry is the most pampered superstar of all time, the most protected superstar of all time. You talked about how he hasn't done anything in his personal life to make him a target. Well, he has. He's an avid Democrat, kind of like LeBron James. And when LeBron James speaks out about politics, everybody goes after him. When Steph Curry does it, nobody cares. And Steph Curry was on a show not too long ago with Andre Iguodala, and the show was called the Winging It Podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. And he quite literally said he thinks the moon landing was fake. Imagine if Kyrie Irving says that. Imagine if, other players say that. Oh, if Kyrie says that, along with the flat earth stuff and the anti-vax stuff. He's going to get a lot of pushback. But Steph Curry thinks the moon landing is fake. This is the first time a lot of you guys are hearing about that. That's because he's the most protected player in the NBA. He is the most pampered superstar in the NBA. And the fact that some people have the nerve to have him number one in the MVP race, even number two, is a joke. Because Nikola Jokic has been by far better than Steph Curry this year. He has the highest PER of all time. When he's on the court, the Nuggets are one of the best teams in the NBA. When he's off it, they are the worst team in the NBA. Last year, when Steph Curry was being great and being historic, this guy finished top 3 in MVP voting. His team didn't even make the playoffs. Like the Warriors didn't even make the playoffs. Oh, I don't want you. I'll wait for you to go. But this is my turn right now. This is my turn right now.
How quickly bro is on the Steph Curry train.
Hold on. Let him go.
He finished top 3 in MVP voting, and last year the media did everything in its power to try to strip the award from Jokic, whether it be Joel Embiid returning from injury, whether it be Steph Curry going bonkers and shooting a bunch of threes and stuff. The fact that Steph Curry finished top 3 MVP voting was a joke last year because he didn't make the playoffs. Okay. Nikola Jokic right now, his team isn't very good, but the Nuggets are in the playoffs right now. They're in the picture. And Nikola Jokic is having by far a better season than Steph Curry. Giannis is having a far better season than Steph Curry right now. He's averaging 27, 12, and 6. And the Bucks are a top 3 seed in Eastern Conference. So his team is winning. What's the excuse for Giannis? Curry is the 4th player in the MVP race. It's KD, it's Jokic, and it's Giannis. Then it's Curry. The fact that some of y'all have Curry number 2 or 1 is a joke. And don't even get me started about KD. KD is by far and away running with this award right now because the Nets are the first seed. And this past week, he had 34 against Philly, 34 against Toronto, and 51 against Detroit. Curry has not done that this season.
It's still impressive.
Hold on. He hasn't done what? Because he gave 50 to Atlanta.
He hasn't done it in a week. He hasn't done what KD's done in the span of a week. He hasn't done that.
No, okay, that's fair. Listen, sir, you said a lot. You said a whole lot. The one thing that really triggered me and that really boggled my mind is you said, I quote, the Nuggets are in the playoffs, but the Nuggets are in the same place that Steph was in last year as to why he was top 3. So your whole point about how at least the Joker has them in the playoffs? No, he has them in the play-in, the same place Steph was in last year. And it's the same situation. Steph, when he was off the court last year, they were statistically one of the worst teams in NBA history. The same with this Denver team now. And where does the Joker have them now? In the play-in. That's the only thing I have an issue with, because you made it seem like the Joker has them as this 5th seed, 4th seed. No, actually, the funny part is Steph, when he played, had them as a 5th, 6th seed. They were actually in the playoffs. Like, they were locked in, but he missed games. The Joker does not have them in the playoffs. He has them in the play-in. And you know, the whole Giannis thing, I'm not going to go back and forth with you on that.
Shouldn't.
Because that's a fair assessment. The whole KD thing, KD's been going absolutely bananas.
He's better than your guy. He's the reason your guy has 2 more rings. Don't forget that.
That is a fact.
Don't get into that.
That's a fact.
Wait.
Actually, you know what's the thing? You know what's funny about what you're saying? What you just told me is that Steph Curry had his team in the same place as Jokic, and Curry, when he was healthy, was a 5th seed. Well, how about you stay healthy, man? I mean, that's part of the MVP race. Why didn't Embiid? Why didn't Embiid?
He's right though.
Why didn't Embiid win?
I don't like the sentiment, but he's right. Embiid should have been the MVP.
Embiid didn't win because he was hurt. So part of the race is staying healthy for the entire year and being there for your team.
Fair.
And say what you want to say about the Warriors and the Nuggets. Compare this Nuggets team to the Warriors last year. The Warriors roster last year was better than this year's Nuggets.
It is a little bit better.
Debatable.
It is. In terms of their secondary, third, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, their guys are getting hurt. You just told me don't get hurt.
Do they have a Draymond? Do they have a Draymond?
And you're talking about Steph Curry and the Warriors are bad without him on the court. I agree, and I know that's a fact.
Yeah.
When Draymond's off the court, their defense sucks, bro. Like, Draymond is literally the glue to that team. He has such a huge impact to that team, and his impact gets minimized so much because we praise Steph so much.
No. I'm not diminishing.
There is nobody on the team that when Jokic goes out can at least keep the team afloat on either side of the court.
This is how I know. This is how I know you don't know what you're talking about. Because
I don't know what you're going for.
When Steph got hurt and Draymond was still there, they lost every game. So for you to say there's nobody,
defense?
Wait, it doesn't matter. They lost every game.
I get I said on one side of the court, at least they hold up.
No, it's not about if the Joker gets off the court and they lose every game, and the Warriors lose Steph and they lose every game, but Draymond's still in the court. It doesn't matter. They both lost every game.
In terms of a roster, we're just talking about the roster.
They lost every game, bro.
I understand what
Steph gets back on the court, and they're a different team, bro.
What you're saying is right. Yes, I understand.
So it doesn't matter.
But that being said, you still look at the 2 rosters. MPJ's out, and Jamal Murray's out. Who is their second best player right now? Aaron Gordon. Are you taking Aaron Gordon? Or you're taking Draymond Green?
No, I'm taking Draymond Green.
Of course you are.
I'm taking Draymond Green.
Jordan Poole last season was serviceable. Obviously, he wasn't.
He got
what
better
he is
throughout
this season.
Kelly Oubre wasn't good.
No, he was not. Toscano Anderson gave them good minutes off the bench
later in the year.
And now Kelly Oubre's thriving in Charlotte, and he said
he's not a Warriors player. He doesn't.
No, yeah, he's also talked about the Warriors and said he couldn't play freely there.
Yeah, it's just these guys have been circulating, getting ready together for a couple years now.
I'm just saying, statistically,
I understand
when Steph got off the court, it was the same as when Joker is getting off the court for this team. They just weren't good. That's all I'm saying. But
I agree a little bit with what he's saying, because last season, yes, they were the 5th seed when he was in.
And you tried to sneak the little KD thing in, and you tried to agree.
It's a fact. What he said is a fact.
It's not a fact.
What I said is a fact, and what him agreeing with was a fact.
It's not a fact. It needs to stop being a fact, because when KD was on OKC, they didn't beat the Warriors. They blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors. I need you to stop.
Wait.
No, stop. I need you to stop saying that. I need you to stop saying Steph needed KD, because if KD does not listen, if KD does not go to the Warriors, Steph still has 2 MVPs.
Okay.
He's already a Hall of Famer. He has back-to-back, whether he loses or not, that's LeBron. He has back-to-back finals appearances. KD still doesn't make the finals. Okay. So to say one
How
person.
do you know? He could have went to any team.
I'm talking about just that year. I'm talking about that
You're
year.
telling me you're the greatest regular season team of all time. You just blew a 3-1 lead, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, because KD ruined the NBA, he went and he joined the Warriors. We don't know what could have happened. You're telling me that Warriors team isn't demoralized?
You're telling me the guy who just blew the 3-1 lead to that same team that just blew the 3-1 lead to bro isn't demoralized, bro?
I mean, he just went to and joined the greatest team ever.
Yeah, he joined the team that beat him. There's no way. If I beat you, bro, you can't say I need you if I beat you, bro.
Listen,
it just
No, but it was Clay. It was Clay. Steph Curry might have beat him.
They needed.
It wasn't just Steph.
Whoa, because KD had Westbrook. Stop it. Don't do that.
KD had Westbrook. You continuously bash Westbrook on this show.
At that time, I bashed. Come on, bro.
At the time, Westbrook, we knew that he doesn't perform in those big time moments.
KD didn't even perform in those big time. KD didn't show up either.
Bro, that OKC team, the starting lineup was KD, Westbrook, Roberson, Ibaka, and Steven Adams.
Wait,
what type of spacing does that roster have?
He was the best player on Golden State.
He was the best player on the court.
When
in that series, KD was the best player on the court.
We're saying in Golden State.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But stop saying Steph needed somebody he beat, bro. He didn't. They needed each other. You can say that.
He beat them.
But you can't say somebody who already had a ring, 2 MVPs.
Because Clay saved Curry.
When?
Game 6.
Game 6, we had 35.
Who was the best player on that court that game?
But stop saying, CC, you're doing it again because Steph also came to play. So you can't sit there and say somebody saved him. Stop doing that. Because Curry literally had back-to-back finals appearances, bro. He just came off a unanimous MVP.
And bro, let's be real, that 2015 championship, like LeBron didn't lose Kyrie and K-Love, he still won 6.
But did KD make it?
That's I'm not saying you're wrong.
Did KD make it the next year? He blew a 3-1 lead, bro.
Hold
up.
The team that was up 3-1.
Yes.
Riv. I want you to do
the
this.
best team in the league that year.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But how do you need? But this is my point, though. You just said the Warriors were the best team in the league. So why would they need somebody more?
Forget about just Steph. There's still Clay. There's still Draymond.
Keep going. So why would they need KD more than he needs them? He literally said, "I wanted to go play freely. I wanted to go play in their system."
Did he or did he not elevate them?
No, he turned them into an unstoppable team.
There you go.
But my thing is, when he wasn't there, they were already.
Riv, did they need KD to win those championships?
Yes, but did KD need them?
So do you answer your own question?
What are you talking about?
Okay, no, I agree with both. Did KD need the Warriors to win the championship? Yes.
This is different.
Did the Warriors need KD to win?
I'm gonna say the Warriors needed KD to win the champs, but KD needed the Warriors to elevate his legacy.
Okay, You're making a fair point. Okay,
yes.
Rate this spacing 1 to 10.
What the spacing?
Russell Westbrook, Andre Roberson, Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Serge Ibaka
at that time, 2016 Ibaka, not the one he became in 2019 when he started shooting threes.
He was still good
but he wasn't a shooter back then, and he was
good
now. And Steven Adams, rate that spacing 1 to 10.
Spacing.
They
were up 3-1.
That's like a 5 or a 6.
And Dion Waiters.
All that sounds cool. They were up 3-1.
Okay,
doesn't matter what you say. They just beat the Spurs. That was an elite Spurs team. They just beat. So all that you said, honestly, really, to be honest, didn't make sense.
We have to change the way the MVP is awarded. The reason for that is because it is all over the place. We have this criteria in our head where it goes to the best player on the best team. But that's not true because Kareem won it and didn't make the playoffs. Westbrook won it and he was a 6th seed.
Yeah. History.
He did something historic, yes. But right now, Jokic doing something historic. He has the highest PER of all time. He leads every player in every single advanced analytic in the NBA. So he's making history as well. Winning and being the best player on your team, that is such a flawed way to give out the award. That's why Curry won in 2015 over Harden, even though Harden was better that year. That's why Giannis won over Harden in 2019, even though Harden was historic. Historic. He averaged 36, and Giannis won because his team won 6 more games, despite the Rockets missing Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, and Clint Capella for a large majority of the game.
That's why Harden won MVP over LeBron in 2018 because he was the number one seed.
Wasn't Giannis statistically in advanced stats better than him in everything?
He was.
Harden averaged 36, bro.
Oh, so now it's a 36 thing. Okay.
No, he averaged 36. You brought up advanced
stats. With Jokic, I can do the same thing.
In advanced analytics, I don't think Giannis was over Harden and everything.
If you're going to say that, then you need to stay consistent and say Curry should have been in the MVP conversation last year.
2015, because he beat Harden in every advanced
I'm not talking about 2015. I'm talking solely last season, though. No, I'm saying
I agree with you.
Yes.
I agree with you. But the fact that some people are trying to leave Jokic out of this MVP conversation,
I agree.
that's why if you want to use that narrative, then Curry shouldn't have been top 3 last year.
But I do believe he should have been in the conversation.
I think Jokic should be top 3 MVP right now.
I agree.
I'm just saying we got to change. We have to change the way the MVP award is awarded, and I hate the way the media is so biased towards these players. That's why some of these guys don't win. There are some players that the media loves more than others, and that's why they vote for them over other players, and that needs to stop. It probably won't stop, but it needs to stop because it's ruining the way these players get viewed in the grand scheme of things because they don't win awards they ultimately deserve.
So let me ask you a question. If the Joker continues this pace, they walk in as a play-in and they don't make the playoffs, are you giving it, in your opinion, like the MVP, the way you have it pictured, are you giving him the MVP? Because
I'll answer your question.
Matters, bro.
I'll answer your question with this. Before I answer your question, I'll say this. If Jokic makes the play-in, it won't be like Curry. He won't lose 2 times in a row. That's Nikola Jokic. He won't lose 2 times in a row. He's a performer.
I don't know,
He's a big-time performer.
I don't get what you're saying.
He will win. But he will win one of those 2 games for sure. Unlike Steph, who lost to the Lakers and the Grizzlies.
Wait.
So he'll win for sure.
Okay.
But I'll say this. I'll say
he'll beat LA.
I'll say
the Lakers. He'll beat the Lakers.
Yeah, he could beat them.
By himself.
Why can't he beat
by
them?
himself?
Why can't he beat them?
Wait,
he can beat them
by himself.
He can beat them. Can he beat Memphis? Yes, he can beat
Memphis is 4th seed right now, bro.
Well, you talked about LA.
I'm talking last season though.
Yeah, last season. No, you're talking about last season.
No, I'm talking about this year.
No, but we're talking last year.
All right, this year, who would he face in the play?
The Lakers.
No, the Lakers are not. The Lakers are not they're not going to face.
So he
Nuggets in the play-in.
Play the Mavs.
Minnesota?
I'll look it up right now.
Minnesota. Can he? Yeah, he could beat Minnesota
by himself.
He could. Yeah, why not? Yeah, he could.
That's going to be a tough one.
Okay.
Can he beat Sacramento? They're 10 seed.
7 right now is the Nuggets. 8 Mavericks. 9 Wolves. 10.
So he would play Dallas.
Can the Nuggets beat the Mavs? Absolutely, they can.
By himself.
They could. Okay. It would be a really good game. Luka would be back.
I'm just saying. I know that Jokic would come to play and he would win that game.
Steph came to play.
He didn't win though.
What were his stats? I'm trying to look it up. I can't
Against the Lakers.
Against the Lakers,
he had about
did he eat?
30. He killed y'all.
But I'll say this also. Based on the way KD is playing right now, he's the MVP. Yeah, and based easy. Where the net, because he's carrying the Nets right now. Yeah. And they're the 1st seed.
Yeah.
So I would give him the MVP by far, and he is the runaway MVP right now.
Winning matters to an extent.
Winning matters, I agree, if you are burdening the load.
Yeah.
Curry has so many good to great players on the Warriors right now. Andrew Wiggins is having a career year.
Yeah.
Draymond Green is DPOY right now. Your bench, Jordan Poole is having a great year. Like, they got so many guys right now that are helping that team win.
Yeah.
Who do the Nets have? They have 36-year-old LaMarcus Aldridge.
I mean,
and Harden.
We're going to look back on that game where everyone had COVID. They had 8 players. Kevin Durant could have decided to sit out. He didn't. That's going to be the game they look at and say, this is why Kevin Durant is the MVP this year. Because there was no reason for him to even think about suiting up. And he said, let's go, let's get it. And he dropped, what did he drop, 35?
Steph Curry, with those things, those players you just named, his per 100 possession, his on-off is plus 9.3, bro.
That's great.
Yeah, but his efficiency this season hasn't
No, but I'm saying whether his efficiency hasn't been good or whether he has all those good players, when he's like, they're a plus 9.3, bro.
It's gravity. It's gravity.
Like, he's still one of the most impactful players on his team, regardless of who's around him.
Okay, so, I agree with you. And look, I love Steph. I think Steph is one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Steph fan, bro.
I don't know. I do not know.
Never mind.
We're talking about great players right now. Players in the MVP race. A player that hopefully one day we hope is there is Zion Williamson.
Oh, God.
But right now, another setback happened in his young career. He is going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, and he received a biologic injection that is meant to promote bone healing in the area of his right foot that he fractured this past off season. The Pelicans have said he's limited to low-impact, partial weight-bearing activities for an extended period. And Willie Green talked about Zion and said, we're talking about somebody's career. Anytime you're dealing with that aspect of professional sports, that is important. That's how we're going. That's how we're looking at this. So they're trying to ease Zion into this and not trying to rush him back. He hasn't played at all this season. And the question for you guys is Zion Williamson going to become a what-if player?
He's definitely gearing towards that. You know, with all the injuries that's happened, like he showed us a glimpse of what he can do. You know, that historic season, like you said, he played 61 games. He put on a historic performance night in, night out. He was incredible. Granted, the Pelicans didn't put much around him. You know, they didn't make the playoffs. They had a couple guys, but it wasn't enough. And then he gets hurt again. Even the year before that, his rookie season, we had to wait. We were anticipating, when's Zion going to play? When's Zion going to play? When's Zion going to play? I think, like, right now, he's definitely gearing towards it because we're just getting small taste of what Zion can show us. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just getting bits and pieces, and it's tough because he's still extremely young, and we want to see him on the court and we want to see him play. But it's tough because all these injuries just sound like injuries that's just been lingering for a long time. Like there's a lot of leg injuries, knee injuries, and those suck because those can literally, we've seen it. Grant Hill, Derrick Rose, these injuries. Brandon Roy, you know, he has no cartilage in his knees. We've seen these really hurt players. For like, at least with those guys, you know, D Rose, we saw a little bit. Grant Hill, we saw a little bit. Zion, he's just giving us bits and pieces, man. We haven't even got to see where he can really be. So I think it really sucks, and he's definitely gearing towards that way, but not there yet.
I think based off last season, it's not bits and pieces. We saw it. What Zion could be at 100%. That was it.
We got a mouthload of that.
I only say that because we haven't seen him in the playoffs.
Which is fair, but it's still early in his career. And like you said, the talent is not around him to make that run, especially given the talent in the West. There's a bunch of good teams right now that are just simply better than the Pelicans. That being said, I'm not ready to say off a third-year injury that he's going to become a what-if player because then Steph Curry never would have been Steph Curry if we just gave up on him after his ankle injury.
They were close.
You just understand you have a guy that has a special type of talent that could change your franchise, especially after you used the number 1 overall pick on him. You take your time on him. Do I think he'll be a what-if player? I'm praying not. It's a foot injury. I think that given the fact that modern medicine is so advanced at this point in time, it is more. Listen, you sit Zion. This season's a wash. You don't need him to play this season at all. You make sure that you save your franchise guys' health. Most importantly, that should be at the forefront. If he sits this whole season, I'm not upset. You see let him take his time to recover. Let him get his body back in shape because clearly that's a concern on every single person's mind that he's overweight. He's over 300 pounds. I think he's pushing almost I think it's 316, the exact number. But you look at him, he doesn't look overly out of shape. There was this picture that he took with this fan and his pops, and he just looks like regular Zion. He doesn't look out of shape. He doesn't look fat. He looks normal. I understand the concern. You see pictures of him from different angles. Angles deceive the eye so quickly. Mm-hmm. The pictures really are not 100% sound. Let him take this season off. I'm fine with it. The Pelicans aren't making any noise. People could say, you know, we want to see him play. We want to see him play. That's noise. Because ultimately, what should matter most is Zion's health. A what-if player is a couple years down the road. I'm not ready to ask that off one season of him missing time. Because even his rookie season, we saw Blake Griffin miss his rookie season and then come back the next year and was all
Greg
world.
Oden?
But Greg Oden never really got any traction the way that Zion did.
What about Brandon Roy?
Brandon Roy's, I'll give you. But that's a knee injury. That's not a foot injury.
And I want to piggyback off that because those players you mentioned had injuries that were significant. Brandon Roy having no cartilage in his knees. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Nothing.
Greg Oden having a bunch of ACL surgeries and, repairing his knee. What are you supposed to do? Grant Hill, ankle injury, which was really a big-time ankle injury. What are you supposed to do? MPJ is gearing more towards a what-if player than Zion because he has a significant back injury.
Back injury is chronic.
No, I think we'll continue.
I'll say this. I think Zion has become an easy target for everybody. And he's become a target because he's different. He rocks outfits that are all anime themed. Some people find that weird. Some people find that cool. I think that's pretty cool. The weight issues. I mean, society loves to make fun of fat people. That's just what it is. It's it is what it is. They clown fat people. So Zion being fat, he's going to get a lot of jokes thrown his way. He's memed across the internet, and especially in that 2K commercial where you have Levine who looks in shape, and then Zion where you could kind of see a double chin on him. You kind of laugh at that. So he's become an easy target because he's easy to make fun of, regardless of his play, because his play has been downright spectacular.
Nothing short.
It's been amazing. He did something historic last year. He made an all-star game, and you talked about getting a taste of that. And you said you didn't see enough because he didn't make the playoffs. If he made the playoffs, you would have got a swallow of it because it wouldn't have just been a taste. You would have got the whole thing.
That's my point.
And Zion, right now, like I said, he's become an easy target with people because he's different, his fashion sense, his weight. He's become an easy target, but I don't think he's a what-if player. A foot injury, sometimes they take time to heal. Sometimes it takes longer than others. Kevin Durant had a setback when he had a foot injury, and it took him, longer than expected to recover from that. Zion is in the same position. You don't rush him back. This isn't a serious injury or as serious as a knee injury or an ankle or a back. I think Zion is going to be fine. Whether he's going to be on the Pelicans is a different question because I think he's on his way to Madison Square Garden to play for the New York Knicks sooner rather than later. And I'm going to be the first person in line buying his jersey. But when you look at what Zion's done, last year he had the most consecutive games with 20 points on 50% shooting, ahead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bob McAdoo, and Walter Davis. Zion was downright historic. It doesn't help that the Pelicans are a dysfunctional organization and David Griffin is one of the worst executives in the league in terms of trusting him.
Yeah.
JJ Redick has already called him out on his podcast. And for a player to call you out publicly, that is a huge indictment on your character and personality. He's lied about players getting traded before. He wanted all the credit when the Cavaliers won a championship, even though we know it was mostly LeBron. David Griffin has shown to be an incompetent executive GM, and the moves that he's made with the Pelicans are all reasons why Zion and his family don't trust him to put his career in the right place. So I'm glad Zion's doing what's best for his future and his career. Why risk it all for a 10-21 team? It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. It's just you look at a guy of that size, that physique.
Girth.
You look at a guy. You look at a guy who plays the way he plays. You can't say injury is just an ankle injury. You can't because of the way he plays. The reason why
explosive game.
Yeah, the reason why KD we don't really KD's injuries was like whatever because of the way he's able to shoot the ball. The reason why we have so much confidence in Klay coming back and being the same way he is because of the way he plays the game. He doesn't really necessarily need his athleticism. I think with Zion putting all that weight on those ankles, it's really gonna, and the way he plays, it's really gonna put a toll on those knees and those ankles, and it's really gonna be tough. I don't know. That's just, and then being this young, your body's not fully developed. Being this young with that much weight, playing the way he plays, having that type of explosiveness, it's gonna be tough, bro. I don't know.
He got injured doing workouts with his stepfather. That's how his foot got hurt.
Was it a specific type of work? Do you know what the workout was?
I don't know what the workout was, but his stepfather's his off-season trainer, and he trusts him to train him, and that's how he got hurt. He got hurt in a workout like that.
I just think he needs the time off. I think you just take the full year, take as long as you need to recover. He knows the caliber player that he can be, who he is currently. He needs to be smart in the process. There's no reason to rush back. The Pelicans are not going to be anything. Even if he comes back, it would be a miracle if he were to make this team become a play-in team. It needs to be a consensus thought that Zion should not return. There's no reason to rush him back. He's too good to risk his career off a season that's already a wash.
Zion, when he's healthy, is a top 20 player in the league.
That's easy.
That's why when he joins the Knicks, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
You have to stop.
He's going to join the Knicks, bro.
He's leaving. He's definitely leaving.
He's gone, but I really don't see a future in why he would go there.
Because we're building something great.
What's
is he
great?
leaving after
Have
the
you
rookie
seen
contract?
Deuce play?
Have you seen RJ?
I don't care about RJ.
Have you seen Julius Randle? Have you seen Evan Fournier?
Have you seen
The
Deuce
Knicks
McBride? Have you
stink.
seen Quickly?
Have you seen Kemba Walker
Have you
get
seen
up yet?
Obi Toppin? Have you seen
Kemba has gotten
Quentin
no
Grimes?
burn. It's crazy.
I've seen
You
all
got
these
some
guys.
players,
I've seen all
bro.
these guys already. I know all these guys.
You got players, bro.
But have you seen your main guys? Your main guys.
Well, if Randall leaves, we got Zion. We'll get
Oh, he's
Zion.
under contract, so he's not leaving no time
I
soon.
mean, we could trade him, bro. It's something called a trade.
Who wants him?
What you can trade him for?
I don't know who the Lakers. Y'all need something desperately right now.
I
Y'all
don't,
can
I don't
get
think Randall's the
Give
guy.
us y'all give us something. I don't care.
What, THT?
Nah, I wouldn't take that. That's
You're lying.
I really
You're
wouldn't
lying.
take that.
Why would he be
THT
like?
with
I
Zion would
wouldn't
be
take
pretty
that.
firm.
Ew.
I like it actually.
Yo, you have to
THT,
stop.
bro,
They have
you
to get
serious?
Zion first.
I know, but I'm just saying, like hypothetical, like
You have to stop. THT is nothing more than just a good role player, maybe a starter. He's really mid. He's not
just
even
say you
mid.
don't
He's
watch the Lakers and
No,
just
he's-
move on, bro.
I don't think a lot of people do, other than Lakers fans. It's really hard to watch you guys.
Screw you.
Be realistic.
Kevin Pritchard, who's the president of the Indiana Pacers currently, slipped up in an interview.
Oh, slipped up is an
And
understatement.
he said the Pacers need a real star.
I don't think he slipped
And
up.
because this show is all about giving you the facts and proper analysis, we're going to read the full quote, or I'm going to read the full quote at least. This is the full quote. At some point in time, we've got to figure out how to manufacture that real star, Pritchard said. We had it with Paul George. He had an it factor, and so did Victor Oladipo. And so we're trying to get that. But we think that a couple of these players could become that too. We may have it already in the gym, but that's the biggest challenge is in this sort of marketplace, how do you get a star? It's hard for us to sign one in free agency. That's a challenge. But there are other ways to do it, and I think we can do it. He then apologized on Twitter and said, I speak with our players every day, and I feel bad for using that word. Sabonis was asked about it after a game. He said, that caught me off guard. We're all trying to get better and do the best to help this team win. And then a report came out that Sabonis wanted out. So what are your thoughts about the full quote, not just a real star thing? And what are your thoughts about Sabonis wanting out?
I feel like he should have stayed 10 toes down. I feel like he should just kept it a buck. He didn't say nothing wrong. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, he didn't say anything wrong. If you feel that way, say it. Like, be truthful. I personally don't. I agree with him.
Sabonis isn't a star.
He isn't a real star.
He isn't a real star.
He's not a real star.
Let me put this.
He's not a real star.
Hold on. Let me put this into perspective for you.
Why,
Let me just break this down for you. You believe the Indiana Pacers could make the playoffs, right?
I did.
Can I ask you just, and I want you to answer this truthfully. Do you think this Indiana Pacers team was better than the Knicks last year?
Talent wise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think if we plug Sabonis on the last year's Knicks team and take out Randall, you think they'd make the playoffs?
Randall
at a 4th seed?
defensively was too much of an impact for the Knicks.
Then do you believe Randall is a real star?
Wow. I just got checkmated.
It's not even that. I'll give you another example.
Easy.
But the thing is,
That was easy.
as an overall ball player, I'm taking Sabonis.
Why?
Because he can handle the ball better.
But he can't defend.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna give this example.
That is
out.
the thing.
Your example was great, and yeah, you did get checkmated.
Yeah, I did. I'm not going to front.
Chris Middleton is the second option to Giannis. For years, what was the knocks on the Bucks and why they couldn't get farther in the playoffs? Because they didn't have a real second star next to Giannis. Who's better, Middleton or Sabonis?
I like Middleton.
I think Middleton's better than Sabonis. Sabonis is a low-level all-star. He's not a real star. And what I mean by a real star is a guy who can be the first option or second option on the championship team. Kevin Pritchard is right in what he said. They haven't had one since Paul George, since Oladipo for that one season.
That's where,
Yeah, I
that's
think
where
he
you
bugged
lose.
Oladipo. I think he-
But that's where you lose me. You're saying that Sabonis can't be a second option on a squad. He's the
On a
first
championship
but
team?
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think he
saying.
can.
Why
No.
can't? Why
On a
can't
contender?
He? Why
No.
can't he?
Because he can't. I just think he can't. We haven't had the evidence of it yet, but I believe he can.
We know he's a stinky first.
It's stinky, strong.
All right, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I understand what you mean though. He's not meant to be the number one player on the squad. Is he a star number two? He 100% can be. You pair him with a Damian Lillard. You pair him
What
with
are
a
they
Luka.
gonna do?
Okay, I'll give you this. I'll give you this example because actually I have this trade, and I put it up on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs right now, their best player is DeJounte Murray.
Dog.
Do you think DeJounte Murray's better than Sabonis?
I do.
I think DeJounte's better.
This season has been DeJounte's breakout
Okay.
He's trending in that direction.
If Sabonis it goes to the Spurs and he becomes the second best player on the Spurs behind DeJounte, what are the Spurs doing?
They're going to win 10 more games?
I don't know. They're very well coached.
Oh, God.
Now they are, though.
They are, but come on. Like, I know. Come on.
They're not deep
They're
enough.
not. Come
They're
on.
not deep
A bunch of
enough.
young bulls.
But, like, I want him to go be that. We're talking Giannis and Middleton. We're talking Giannis, who's a top 5 player. We're talking Middleton, who's probably top 20.
You think
25.
Giannis and Sabonis would work?
No. I'm saying
You think
Sabonis
Dame and Sabonis would
Sabonis
work?
and Luka.
Okay, so I'll
He
give you
needs
this.
to be with a guard.
I'll give you
He's
this.
He's a pass type point forward.
I'll give you this example.
In the post.
Your Lakers team won the championship 2019 in the bubble. Swap out AD and put in Sabonis. Sabonis, your second best player. Are you guys winning?
Again, Giannis. I mean, we're talking about AD.
You have
who
LeBron.
is top
You have LeBron.
5.
Are you guys winning? Yes or no? You have LeBron.
Bro, AD.
I'll be honest, probably.
AD is a second option.
We're talking about LeBron.
You're getting past Denver with Sabonis? Honestly. Like, dead serious.
You're not getting past Houston.
AD was huge. Oh, yeah, we're getting past Houston. We're getting past Houston.
AD was guarding Westbrook.
No, but AD was all world. That's so hard
That's
for
fine.
me to say. Yeah, he was all world.
I'll just say
but
this.
again, we're talking about top 5 player.
AD,
and Anthony
AD
Davis
is
at
a
the
real
time.
star, no doubt.
Sabonis-
But
He's
AD's a superstar.
no, yeah, no,
Tier
he's
two.
a real star. That's the same thing. But AD is not a first option. He's a second option.
We're talking about a top 5.
Dame is not a first option either, though.
Dame is a first.
Dame is
option.
not a first
That's
option.
such
Dame
hot
is a
take.
second
Dame
option.
has been forced to be the first option. They've had success,
Dame is the
but you can't get over the hump with Dame.
Dame
as
is
the
a first option on a consistent playoff team. He's not a first option on a championship. He's like a Jimmy Butler. They're first options on a consistent playoff team. They're not first options on a championship team. And now you're pairing a Dame and Sabonis.
So, Sabonis said he wanted out. So what team do you think could use Sabonis? I know you guys talked about the Mavericks last episode.
I liked your Spurs deal.
Okay, the audience hasn't heard it yet because I put it up on my Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter at Joel V. Moran.
Maybe acting crazy.
I'll be doing some mock trades. So look, this is the trade. The Spurs trade Keldon Johnson and Derek White for DeMontis Sabonis.
That's it?
Yes. I mean, you could throw in some picks in there. I get it.
2024.
But this is
Derek White's
the core of the
been playing
deal.
well this year.
Derek White is good. He's a good player. Sabonis is. It's like. Let me ask you a
Who
question.
says no in that deal? Who do you think says no in that deal?
I don't think any, but I think you have to look at it and say, why would you bring in that contract if it's not going to make you that much better?
It's $18 million a year, bro. He's making really nothing. So but compared to how good Sabonis is, like Sabonis is underpaid for how good he is.
Is he?
Oh, definitely.
Yes, he is.
Definitely,
Yeah, for sure.
definitely.
He's making 18 mil, bro.
You think he's a 20 mil guy?
Yes.
Duncan Robinson's making how much?
18 mil.
There you go. That's all
Fournier
you
is
need.
making 17 mil.
Well, he's a scrub. He got overpaid. Duncan got overpaid too, though.
Fournier is
know,
better than Duncan.
But that's what I'm
I
telling you.
just said they both got overpaid.
Okay.
Well, Fournier stinks.
Well,
They're on the same
NBA
level.
is trending towards
Overpayment.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're overpaying guys. I mean,
Sabonis is underpaid for what he
I mean,
is actually.
compared to like Randall and Sabonis, like Randall's getting paid what?
19.
Yeah, Randall.
I think he's like 19.
Around there, he had
I
a
just thought he
team-friendly
just got
He
deal.
shouldn't get, and I don't think he should get paid more than Randall. Honestly, whatever Randall should get paid, Sabonis is right under there.
I don't know. Sabonis is more efficient than Randall.
Okay,
is.
but Derek White to the Pacers and Keldon Johnson to the Pacers. Domantas Sabonis goes to the Spurs. How good do you think the Spurs can be? I mean, I think their lineup would be pretty cool, and I think Sabonis fits the Spurs.
He's a good passer.
He reminds me of a Spurs player. The starting lineup would be DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, or Devin Vassell, Doug McDermott, Sabonis, and Jakob Poeltl. I think that's pretty good. And that means more minutes for Josh Primo.
Well, you said DeJounte, and you said Devin at the 2?
no,
Devin or Lonnie, whoever.
And then you got Dougie, and then you got Sabonis,
Sabonis.
and then Poeltl. Yeah, you run with what you got. You know, Sabonis is still 25. He's still really young, so you can still work with that. Him and DeJounte, I believe, are the same age. It's just like, where does Sabonis go to make any, like, what contender does he make better?
I don't know.
He doesn't make Charlotte better, I don't think. I don't think that's what he needs. That's what they need. Dallas, he might make them a little bit better, but
I mean, Sabonis' defense is not horrible. 106 defensive rating.
Defensive rating is a team stat, though.
But regardless of that, that's still the best of his career.
his team defense is cool.
On and off numbers are better to use than that.
You're upset.
I don't know. Draymond's is a 99. Are we saying that's more team
Well,
oriented?
he's like a safety, bro.
I understand, but like we can't just say he's the leader in defensive rating. Let's give the credit to Draymond for that. But I tell you,
You
that
watch
his is 106.
Basketball play.
Of course.
So I'm not even going to
exactly.
go
But
back
I'm just,
and forth.
I'm
with
just
you on
letting
that.
you know, Sabonis is not a scrub on defense.
He is though.
He's not a scrub.
He's like a cone, bro.
A cone. Do you understand what a cone is?
Yeah.
He's not a cone for sure.
So where do you think he like? Where do you
See?
Are you think he's like? I don't understand.
Clippers would be interesting. I don't know how the
What?
Clippers would get him. Clippers would be interesting.
Why?
They need a big type presence.
They're fourth in defensive rating.
I understand exactly. So then that hunch of him being a cone would not be that much of an issue.
It would literally drop their defense.
That's not. He's not bad defensively.
Why
I
do
just told
think-
you this.
You don't know, but you. Okay, I get what you're saying. You're using. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
That being said, you pair him with Paul George, who's already been amazing. I don't know who you'd have to give up in that sense.
Well, Bledsoe has to go.
Bledsoe would have to go, and I don't think that would hurt you too badly. And I'm sure you probably have to trade Zubac.
Look, Sabonis is average
At what?
at defense.
Okay.
He's average on defense.
So then,
bro.
if he's average on defense, he's a really
Sabonis or
effective
Siakam?
offensive.
I'm telling you right now,
That's a really good question.
Sabonis or Siakam?
Siakam's better. I'm telling you right now,
Really good question.
I'm telling you right now that defensive rating is a flawed stat. We're looking at an individual stat because it's a team stat.
So then, why do we ever bring it up with Rudy Gobert?
There are more stats with Rudy Gobert, like defensive field goal percentage and stuff like that. Because defensive rating, that is just how many. That's just what does this team score? What does the opposing team score per 100 possessions when this player is on the floor? But when Sabonis is on the floor, he's on the floor with 4 other players, and depending on who those 4 other players are, if they're good defenders, they can mask his weaknesses. So that's why it's more of a team stat than anything, and Gobert has like so many stats that point to his elite
Of course.
defense.
I mean, we're talking about Gobert. He's one of the best defensive players ever.
But that's why, like, defensive field goal percentage. I really haven't looked at Sabonis' defensive stats
I'm trying to find
because
it
I
right
think
now.
he's just average. I don't really think I need to look at it, to be honest. But I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad ball. Like, defensive cone is such a stretch.
His defensive ratings over his career: 108, 107, 104, 106, 110, 107. So it ain't-
So I'm not saying that he's the best defender in the league. I'm just letting you know that he's not a scrub defensively, like you said.
Okay.
And with his offensive game being as good as it is, he's an efficient point forward who can facilitate the basketball. I said this. He is a broke Jokic.
Broke is crazy.
He's a poor man's Jokic. That's the truth. And Jokic has gotten criticized for his defense, but this year he's been spectacular defensively. I think that you could put him on a team where he could be the number 2 and you will have success. A team like the Clippers would benefit greatly from him. A team like the Mavs, obviously, who already have Luka Doncic, who is a great facilitator, great scorer, and then you just add another facilitator and a solid interior present type player in Sabonis. I think that would work very well.
You think the Clippers?
Clippers, I don't hate at all, especially because of how good they are defensively already. Offensively, you just add another piece to that. That would be pretty firm.
Okay, here we go. So I looked up Sabonis' defensive
All right,
numbers.
Let me hear it.
2-pointers, he's allowing a defensive field goal percentage of 52.3.
Yeah.
Less than
Not
6
that
feet, 57.0.
Less than
10
2 feet? All right, so basically...
no, less than 6 feet.
Okay, so that's still mad close.
Less than 10 feet, 52.8.
Okay,
And then greater than 15 feet, 37.2.
okay. And how tall is Sabonis? 6'11"?
Yeah.
He's pretty tall.
So he's allowing a defensive field goal percentage of 47.0. Frequency is at 100%.
Okay, again, he's not horrible.
47 is pretty calm, though.
Agreed. I'm not telling you again, he's not the best defensive player. All I'm telling you is he's serviceable. And what he brings offensively, to say he's you said
Overall,
average
his
defensively.
defensive
That's
field
what you
goal-
said, which I'm okay
His
with.
defensive field goal percentage is 47%.
Which is,
Again, that's
that's what?
all right.
That's
That's
average.
serviceable,
That's average.
which is fine.
That's efficient.
But you said he was a cone. That's not true.
I mean, 47% is pretty efficient, bro.
I mean, you're bumping with bigs. The best bigs average 70%.
The ones that don't take jump shots.
Like Rudy Gobert's averaging 74. Jared Allen's averaging 70 from the field.
Cat's at 50.
But Cat also is a jump shooter.
And 47 is right there.
But we're only talking about from inside 6 feet and 10 feet.
Well, you said he bangs with bigs. Inside, they average 57%.
Again, like I said, for bigs who field goal percentage are usually 70, around that range, That's not bad.
Let's find out.
I think. Listen,
Sabonis is average, bro. I'm really not about to argue how good Sabonis is.
You're high on Sabonis.
I'm not high on Sabonis. I'm just trying to make him. You guys are making him sound like he's
not a real
he's
star.
regular. He's not
I don't
regular.
think he's a real star. That's what I
Is
said.
he that
See,
much
that's
better
what
than
I'm
Tobias Harris? Honestly.
Oh my god.
No, honestly speaking. Answer.
Yes.
Really? Really? Like, what does he do that's so spectacular? I'm confused. Like,
He can facilitate the basketball and he can
out the
rebound
pick-
and his
no,
efficiency is really
in the
good.
post, he definitely can do it. But
So
like,
then, what more do you want me to tell you?
you look at the stars in the NBA, right? You look at the guys who were just regular stars. Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Bradley Beal, even like Russell Westbrook. These guys, they've shown the ability to take a bad to okay team to the playoffs. Sabonis hasn't really.
It's tough for a big to do that.
Is it though?
It is tough to be by yourself and do it. It's tough, but I don't think he's by himself.
There have been a
personally this
lot
year.
of people that done it though. Julius Randle did it last year.
And what is he doing this year?
I get it, but like he did
He's
it.
made the playoffs.
We're talking about
He's
Sabonis
made the
doing it
playoffs.
once.
Sabonis has made the playoffs. That being said, he's never shot less than 50% from the field other than his rookie season.
There's only 3 players this year that averaged 18 plus points per game, 10 plus rebounds, and 5 plus
Yeah,
assists.
Sabonis is one of them.
Yeah, it's Giannis, Jokic.
He hasn't
and
made the
Sabonis.
playoffs since 2019.
So 3 seasons to go.
He averaged 9 points.
2019, he averaged 14.1. What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about the playoffs. He averaged 9 points.
Who did they play?
I don't remember. They lost in 4 games. He averaged
So he got swept by a better team.
Bro, he averaged 9 points.
He's not.
All right, tell me who we played while you're laughing, though.
I don't know who they
You're
play.
going to make me look?
Bro, I'm saying, like,
Nah, yo, because he didn't play in the bubble because he was hurt.
since he's been the man, they haven't made the playoffs. I don't think 2019 was the man. I think that was like
He played 24 minutes in 2018-19 season in the playoffs. He shot 41% and 25% from 3. He averaged 9 points and 7 rebounds.
All right, who did he play?
You keep asking.
That's what I want to know. I want to know if it was someone that could actually clamp him.
It was the Boston Celtics.
Al Horford?
He wasn't starting. He didn't start 1 game.
Al Horford never...
No, I'm talking about Sabonis didn't start any game.
Oh.
So the team, it was Kyrie, Tatum, Hayward, Marcus Morris, Brown, Al Horford,
Oh, yeah, they got it.
Rozier,
Yeah,
Aaron
so-
Baines, and Daniel Tice on the team.
So since he's been the man.
No, but like he hasn't been in the playoffs since he's gotten to this level, all-star level. So that's, to be fair. He averaged 9 points. That's funny, bro.
That is funny, but he
Bro,
wasn't
he
a starter,
averaged
so
9
I didn't
points.
know.
whatever,
I
yeah.
didn't think, honestly, I didn't think I was going to see that.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was going to see like 15, 16.
No, yeah, he's done. Not only has he not taken the team to the playoffs, he's done nothing in the playoffs to make us think he's a real star.
Which is fair.
Done nothing in the
at
regular
time-
season either to really give us any.
That's cap. I mean, last year he averaged 20, 12.
They didn't
So-
do anything. But okay, I
I'm
understand.
just
I
saying he
understand.
did nothing.
I mean,
20,
like
12
as a
is
star,
impressive.
it's not just the numbers. You got to you know what I'm saying?
course.
Put
You
your
got to
team
elevate
first.
your team.
I agree.
In
I
some
agree.
way, he's a great passer.
I mean,
you told
last
me.
year
So
they
if you're a
made
great
they made
passer,
the play-in last year.
oh,
And defensively,
that's fair.
Okay.
and they got blown out though. Oh no,
No,
did they get
They
smoked?
blew
No,
out
they
Charlotte.
blew out Charlotte.
They blew
Yeah.
out Charlotte, and then it
Yeah.
got smoked out after that.
They lost to the Wizards.
Yeah. I mean, Miles Turner elevates the Pacers, I think,
Defensively.
more than Sabonis. Definitely defensively, yeah.
I mean, his attempts, they're not there this season.
But
for me to say
defensively,
that.
he elevates them at
no,
some
no,
point.
Agreed.
Bonus, you told me he's a great passer.
He's
I
a
don't
good-
see any elevation. I'm confused.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? I don't see like the team elevating.
Okay,
Like,
well,
you know?
even when Miles Turner's, where's the team elevating?
I mean, you're right.
Well, there you go. That's it.
Yeah,
Team's just
Brogdon.
not
No,
in
but
right now.
Turner is a complimentary player, though.
And Sabonis isn't, given the fact that he is a
now
facilitating
you just
power
You
told
forward?
just said he's a real star.
You
Now you're
told
saying
us-
he's
Make up
complimentary.
your
No,
mind.
wait, but
I'm saying Turner
I
isn't a
misunderstood
star.
what you
He's just
said.
Yeah,
he's just a
saying-
complimentary
we're
player.
saying He's like
Okay.
He's Lonzo.
Yeah, in a sense.
But I think Miles Turner could be a little bit better than that.
He probably can be, but as of right now,
But he's never
As
going
of
to
right
be
now,
a
for
star.
sure.
You know, I mean, you got a good team. You got Brogdon. You got LeVert. Lamb and Duarte.
Ultimately, what we need is Sabonis to get off the Pacers. So
What do you mean we? Oh, you.
I'm just saying. Okay. Do you want him to stay on the Pacers?
I don't care where he goes. I'll
All
be
right.
honest with you.
Ultimately, we do need Sabonis to get off the pitch.
Yes.
See, maybe he's a real star. Maybe he is. Maybe he's.
I mean, if he's a real star, the market would be very they would call for him, honestly, and that's a fact.
I'm sure they are calling for. Did you not watch that Mavs Pacer game afterwards where Luka is with Sabonis? Like, yo,
you thought that was like?
What do you mean? And then Porzingis came up to him and said the exact same thing.
Oh, they just wasn't talking. You thought that was like come join us.
The covering the Mavs isn't.
They do
low,
that all the time,
but that isn't low. Especially when Sabonis wants out.
Steph and Lonzo did that. You think he was telling Lonzo to come play for him in Golden State? Are you serious? You dead serious?
I'm sure
right
that
now?
he would have loved Lonzo to come to Golden State.
He wouldn't even start.
He probably would.
You think so?
Lonzo?
I don't know. You think so?
Jordan Poole would be
Jordan
off the
Poole or
bench.
Clay are starting. Fact.
No, but you don't think Lonzo starts over Poole at least right now?
Nah.
Come on, bro. What are you talking about?
He wouldn't.
Lonzo's been mad firm this season, and especially given the fact that the spacing
He
that they
wouldn't
have in the
start.
Warriors,
He wouldn't start.
Lonzo would eat.
I didn't say that. I just said he wouldn't
Well,
start.
we gotta definitely
definitely,
definitely place a bet on whether or not Sabonis becomes a real star or not, and you can do that
laugh.
maybe with DraftKings.
Bang, right there.
Football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, but with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get it on NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code TBPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older in NJ, in IN or PA only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, we're going to start a new segment every week. It's called This Week in the NBA. So this week in the NBA, what did you guys see that intrigued you, that caught your eye, that's not on the topic list, that you feel like needs to be talked about or at least shine the light upon?
Well, mine was, it was pretty simple. It just happened last night, actually, perfectly. So I'm glad it happened. AD, him getting hurt, him going down twice in the same game. I think with AD's injury concern, his history with injuries, him being banged up a lot, especially in these back-to-back seasons, it's really hurting the Lakers and it's hurting his career, because him getting hurt, LeBron has said that he was the next guy to take the mantle and be that guy for the Los Angeles Lakers, and they're waiting for him to take that step back into that old AD, that 28-12 with 3 blocks AD we used to see. But I think just him and his body just failing him and him not having the proper motivation, that's really been hurting him. So definitely last night's game, I'm glad that came on. And then Cat going out there and putting a statement on and just doing his thing, I think that was impressive. So that was one thing for me.
So LaMelo coming back from COVID, he has been spectacular whenever he's been on the court. He's been everything and more than what we were expecting him when he first got drafted. Last night comes back after missing 6 games, gives Portland absolute fits, 27 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 60% from 3, shot over 64% from the field. LaMelo Ball is that guy. And I've been seeing a little bit of controversy of whether he's going to get that All-Star game nod or if it's going to go to Darius Garland, who we're going to speak about a little bit later in the show. I think the league and obviously media understands what LaMelo is. But we're seeing his offensive game start to evolve. We're seeing his jump shooting, him really find confidence in that jump shot. I think LaMelo Ball will be, probably by the end of next season, a top 15 ball player.
Okay. They got it blown out, right? Charlotte?
It's okay. He was amazing.
I'm just letting you know. Top 15.
Next season, at the end of next season.
Say the full thing.
At the end of next season, I said it already, but I'll say it again because I'm fine with it. At the end of next season, LaMelo Ball will be a top 15 ball player.
Okay.
He can do everything.
Okay. We'll see. I'm going to next year.
That's fine.
Because we'll be bigger next year. So I'll bring this back.
Done.
Remember when you said this? All right.
Come on, bro. I'm a man of my word. I really don't care.
Top 15
is he going to be better than Darius Garland? Is he already better than him?
I think so. Darius Garland's no slouch. That is no disrespect to Darius Garland whatsoever.
I think they're like right here.
I think his physicality, his athleticism.
What?
Given the fact that they're basically around the same numbers, except LaMelo averages a couple points higher, has more rebounds, averages more assists.
You got it.
Yeah, I know.
This week in the NBA, DeJounte Murray had 2 triple-doubles. He had 10, 12, and 10 against the Pelicans and 16, 11, and 11 against the Jazz, and the Spurs ended up beating the Jazz in that game.
That game winner was sick.
DeJounte's averaging 18, 8, and 8 on the season with 2 steals, shooting 44% from the field and 33% from 3. We all know he's not the greatest shooter ever, but I wanted to bring up DeJounte Murray because DeJounte Murray, I think, is the most underrated player in the NBA currently. You can't name me somebody more underrated than DeJounte Murray. He is what everybody thinks Lonzo Ball is. He actually is what everybody thinks Lonzo is. I'm just saying, what everybody thinks Lonzo is, that's what DeJounte actually is. He's like that.
Because he's getting the opportunity that Lonzo didn't have.
Lonzo with the opportunity wouldn't have done that.
DeJounte took years to become this.
It's because he got injured multiple seasons that derailed him.
Boy, he can't shoot like Lonzo.
He definitely
cannot.
He could defend better than him, though.
It's very close.
No, I know.
He's more lengthy. He is more lengthy.
His width is crazy.
I know, bro.
Yeah, his width is crazy.
That's it. That's why I had to. It's width.
His width is insane.
It's crazy.
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
he has like a 7'8" wingspan.
Yeah. Strong
But
guy.
I think DeJounte Murray is the most underrated player in the NBA.
He's definitely taking that mantle.
He doesn't get talked about because he plays for the Spurs. I think a lot of the players on the Spurs are underrated, like Derek White. He's one of those guys that
Derek White for sure.
I think he's a top 10 shooting guard in the NBA. And people probably don't think of him as that, but I think he could be. He is there.
Yeah.
Like after the 6 guys,
Probably knock him down. Probably you got obviously Mitchell, Booker, Levine, SGA.
there are 6 guys by far better than him.
Yeah, definitely. You got to crack it down.
Who's better, him or Terry Rozier?
I like Derek White.
Ooh, that's close.
He locks up.
For me,
He does lock up.
I like Derek
He had
White.
big time shots yesterday against the Jazz.
I like Derek White, personally.
All right, I'm looking at this list. We're James Harden, Kyrie Irving. We're just gonna say one of the two.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell,
yeah. Bradley Beal, Zach,
Levine,
SGA.
McCollum's
better.
Klay Thompson. We're not going to talk about
Clay's
him.
better,
better.
I guess, when healthy.
Jaylen Brown.
They have Terry Rozier over him.
I don't.
Jaylen Brown, no
Brown's
doubt.
better.
They have Marcus Smart. He's a point guard.
Marcus Smart's not better than him.
that's
He's not better
disgusting.
than him anyway.
Anthony Edwards.
Oh, yeah, he's better. So what number are we at right now?
He's probably definitely top
was
13.
That was 10.
But you mentioned you put in Marcus Smart.
No, we put in Jaylen Brown for Marcus Smart, who they don't have on here. Terry Rozier, you said you're taking.
I said I'm taking White.
Okay, so then we're at flat 10.
So he's definitely top 15.
Is Halliburton's a point guard?
Derek White's better.
Karis LeVert?
Derek White's
White.
better.
Sexton?
Derek White's better.
Okay.
It's not a ooh. He's better.
Cade's a point guard?
Cade's a point
Yeah,
guard.
he's
a
a point
rookie,
guard.
though.
Dylan Brooks?
He's not a 2 guard.
They have him here as a 2.
He plays a 3. Desmond Bain plays 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Seth Curry?
Derek White's
Derek
better.
White's better.
Ooh, okay.
No. He's
No?
better.
They have Derek White 29th ranked shooting guard.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're not acknowledging that.
Yeah.
You know they don't watch San
Yeah,
Antonio.
that's a fact. I don't know. Seth Curry is a hooper.
Now, offensively, I think he is a better shooter than Derek White.
But taking everything into account.
Derek White's a better ball handler. He's a better playmaker. He's a better defender.
He's just better.
Yeah.
better.
I think Derek White is underrated. There are a lot of underrated players on the Spurs right now. They're still bad, though, but they're competitive.
So I'll say he's a cusp 10.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's like right. If he's not 10, if he's not right at 10, he's like
10,
11,
13.
12.
He's
10,
top 15.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm with that.
Now, moving on from this week in the NBA, we're going to talk about a team that struggles mightily on defense that you guys have been waiting for us to talk about. The Charlotte Hornets. Every single time I look in the YouTube comments, it's when are you going to talk about the Hornets? You said you were going to talk about them. You haven't talked about them. Well, we're going to talk about them now. And we're going to talk about their defense because they have the worst defensive rating in the NBA. They are giving up the most points in the NBA. Yesterday, they lost to Portland 114-125. They gave up 81 points in the first half. Dame had 43. McLemore had 28.
Oh, he finished with 40.
Yeah. The Hornets are 16-15. They're the 6th seed currently. What do you think can fix their defense? How do they fix their defense? And is that ultimately going to take them from being just a fringe playoff team to a top 5 seed in the East possibly?
Of course. I mean, you look at it. They're second in points, third in offensive rating. They're a high-powered offense. You know, they got a lot of guys that can put the ball in the basket. They're evenly on the same level. You got LaMelo, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges is taking that next step. PJ Washington can give you about 11, 12 games. Kelly Oubre has upped his game. They got a lot of guys, you know, and James Bucknight has, you know, come a long way in the last couple of weeks. So they got a lot of guys. But and I was talking to Drew about this. To fix a team that's the worst defense in the league, it's 3 things, you know, one of these 3 things: trade, scheme, or they're just young. And this is aside from Gordon Hayward, and I guess we could stretch it to Terry Rozier and Mason Plumlee, of course, this is an extremely young team. I mean, you look at this team from a team defense perspective, and I know defensive rating is a flaw, but in terms of just team defense, the best defensive rating on this team is Scotty Lewis. He played 2 games. It's at 109.
Ooh.
So for guys that played 20 games, LaMelo's at 112. Mason Plumlee's at 113. PJ Washington, he's at 114. Then you got Nick Wright. He's at 115. A bunch of guys at 115. Miles Bridges, who came in, he was supposed to be a defender. He's at 117. 118, Kelly Oubre. Then you got Gordon Hayward, Kai Jones. Oh, my God. It's just a bunch of – nobody is higher than 110. So this team is a poor defensive team.
Lower.
Oh, thank you. Nobody's lower than 110. So this team is a poor defensive team as a unit. And a lot of it, you know, they're young. You know, and young teams tend to not – you know, they're not that great defensively as a start. And it shows in them just being young and inexperienced, and that's okay. But I think, like you said, for this team to step their game up and really become a serious contender in the East – they have to play defense. They have to at least bump it up into the teens just for right now. Low 20s, high teens, just to start, you know, keep that offense going, and then they just keep going year by year. Because right now, being one of the worst defensive teams in the league, you're going to have to outscore everybody, and you can't do that every night.
This was tough for me because, like Riv said a little bit, we spoke a little before, and it's like, how do you fix a team that is terrible defensively? Not just terrible, the dead worst in the league. If you're the Charlotte Hornets, I'm sure you understand that you have a bunch of ball players that can score really, really well. You have LaMelo, obviously, who can give you 20+. Bridges has taken that step into that 19-20 range. Gordon Hayward is a consistent 18 to 20 point per game scorer for basically his whole career. Terry Rozier has taken that leap since becoming a Charlotte Hornet. You know that they have guys. Now, defensively, they don't. I'm sure that the Hornets looked at the Kings and what the Kings have done over these last few years and realized we don't want to become what they are. Offensively, the Kings have ball players that could score. Defensively, they don't have anyone that could stop a nosebleed. So if I'm the Hornets, you need to realize this early and you need to fix it. It's either discipline. You come together and you realize, hey, we need to be doing more. We need to be putting more effort to the defensive side of the ball. You go and you, like Riv said, you go and you make a trade to bring in someone that's defensive oriented. I was thinking about it a little bit before. This offseason, PJ Tucker was very fixated on going to Miami. He would have been a perfect fix for them to solve whatever issue they had defensively. Not fix the entire problem, but at least have some kind of responsibility or bring some kind of responsibility to the rest of these guys that, hey, I understand you guys are young and I understand you're adjusting to the NBA, but you need to focus on the other side of the ball. It's not just offense. It's offense and defense. Defense ultimately wins championships. You look at where the Cavs are at compared to the Hornets. The Hornets probably have better scorers than the Cavaliers, but the Cavaliers are significantly better defensively, and that's why the Cavaliers are having success as opposed to the Hornets, who started really hot, but slowly but surely have dropped off. Defense ultimately gets you to the playoffs and makes you a perennial playoff team. Hornets need to adjust. They need to bring in someone that's defensive oriented. I'm not saying the coach. I'm saying personnel wise, and maybe they'll fix something better than 30. 30 is inexcusable.
They're bad on defense because they don't have the personnel. It's as simple as that.
Simple.
They have to make a trade. And I think the biggest reason why they struggle on defense is because their centers are not good. Mason Plumlee is their best defender on the interior, and he's an average defender at best on the interior. And then you have P.J. Washington, who tries and in spurts can, that small ball lineup can be successful, but he's 6'6", 6'7". I mean, he's not going to be banging down lows with any big men. Because of that, Miles Turner is the perfect player to go to Charlotte.
I like that.
And the Hornets have contracts that match Miles Turner's contract. I have 2 trades here. The Hornets can trade Mason Plumlee and P.J. Washington to the Pacers for Miles Turner, or they can trade Miles Bridges and Mason Plumlee for Miles Turner. Now, I know you got that face, and I'll explain it right now. Miles Bridges has broken out this year. He's been flat out phenomenal, but he is a restricted free agent this offseason, and he's going to get 20+ mil in the open market. And, the Hornets have a qualifying offer for him for upwards to $11 million, but he's going to get more than that. The Hornets are going to have to match Bridges' contract. They already paid Rozier. They already paid Gordon Hayward. They paid Oubre some money. Because of that, Miles Bridges might be the guy that gets shipped out because they might not want to pay him a contract. And they can have Miles Turner for 3 seasons in Charlotte locked in on his contract, which isn't too much for the impact he makes. Miles Turner averages 3 blocks per game. He has changed. Well, he is the reason why the Pacers defense is good year in and year out. He's a big reason for that. And since Turner's rookie season, only 3 players have blocked more shots than he has. He ranks 15th in the league in deflections and is top 5 in terms of defensive field goal percentage at the rim. Indiana's defensive rating is 107.7 when he's on the court and 111.3 when he's on the bench. This guy is a really great defender, and he fits what the Hornets want to do offensively because he can shoot. Even with Turner there offensively, I mean, he's 6'11", is going to be an impactful defender, and on offense, he can shoot. He's a great floor spacing big.
100%.
So that makes the Hornets offense still. I don't think the drop off is massive. And whether or not you want to trade PJ or Miles Bridges is up to you. I would personally trade PJ and not Miles Bridges, but I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think Miles Turner, impact wise, makes more of an impact than Bridges and PJ Washington.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I understand Miles Bridges has turned up this season, but Miles Turner, you have until 2023 for only $20 million. That would be extremely beneficial.
And the Pacers, Kevin Pritchard has said he wants to look for a real star. Well, Miles Bridges has shown flashes that maybe he can become that. So that would make the deal enticing for them.
This is the guy who's tied to be the leading scorer on the team.
You're saying
Miles
Bridges, yeah.
But you still have LaMelo, Rozier, Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward's
Oubre.
averaging a point less than him. Rozier's averaging a point less than Hayward.
That's just...
Oubre's averaging about the same as Rozier.
PJ has to go. Easily.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you had the choice and PJ, they said, yeah, we'll take PJ, I'm sure they don't hesitate to do that.
Bridges is just tough because of the breakout he's just had this year. It's been tough, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. Defense is
that would be huge, and he can shoot. He takes a minimum 4 threes a game, and he's shooting 36%. For a big, that's fantastic.
Defense is definitely the key, but it's tricky because Miles Turner has stated he wants more touches,
and he would definitely get more touches here.
I don't know.
As opposed to Indiana,
I think they'll play a fast. I don't think he'll get more touches, and he's only complaining in Indiana because they're not winning. If he goes to Charlotte, they're going to play a fun style of basketball. He's going to run in transition a lot. He's going to get a lot of easy baskets, and it's going to be a fun place to play for him. So I don't think he's going to complain in Charlotte because he's going to play a role, he's going to excel in it, and he's going to be playing a fun brand of basketball.
Like right now, he's only taking 9 attempts a game. It's not out of the realm of possibility he gets traded to Charlotte and it goes up to 11, 12.
I'm going to be honest, bro. Miles Turner needs to stop acting like he's a star.
I understand, but at least when
this
he
is
gets
who
his
he is. Like,
I don't think he's acting like he's a star.
Exactly.
I think he's acting like he just wants to be somewhere
wants a
where
bigger
he can,
role.
Yeah, that's
which
all.
I'm fine
I think
with.
where he
Given
just
his
wants to win. What's a
efficiencies.
bigger role, bro? He's averaging 13 and 7. That's his career, though. He's not getting better.
But given the opportunity
field
that's been
goals,
given,
those stinks.
and his field goal percentages are good. They're good.
He feels like he can do more with more opportunity.
Bro,
That was Jeremy Grant.
I really just think he is who he is.
That was Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant felt like he could do more with more opportunities. He went, boom, 20
All
points.
right, and he's on a bad team.
That's true.
He's not doing anything, and he's about to get traded again.
That is very true.
So I'm not, Miles Turner, I think this is who he is, but it's fine because he's a good player. I just think the Hornets, their offense is electric. LaMelo is electric. LaMelo is going to be, if he's not already, he's going to be a top 5 point guard soon. Gordon Hayward is still playing at an efficient level, all-star level, a little bit below that. Rozier is a flamethrower. But they needed interior presence. And P.J. Washington at 6'7", 6'6", cannot guard bigs. Mason Plumlee's average.
Yeah.
They need to trade for Miles Turner. Miles Turner gives them a defensive presence and makes their defense formidable.
But
they won't
LaMelo-
be elite, but they'll be good.
They'll be better than 30.
LaMelo and Miles Bridges' chemistry is so perfect, bro. Like their combination, like it's just, I don't know, bro. That's tough. Like
You're getting stuck on that, but like you can
Gordon
trade
Hayward's
PJ.
and Gordon Hayward's still on the squad.
I would, yeah. I mean,
And I don't think Indiana wants Hayward.
he's 31.
Still got a couple years.
Yeah, I mean,
If
Again, for
I'm-
the
look,
contract for Miles Turner, that's super firm.
I get what you're saying. If I'm the Hornets, I'm trading P.J.
Yes,
Washington, Mason
absolutely.
Plumlee, and some picks for Miles Turner, and I'm fixing up my defense.
Absolutely.
If you're hell-bent on keeping Miles Bridges, because Miles Bridges, we know he's a really damn good player, and I would 100% be an advocate for keeping him, but he's his contract is expiring this year. He's a restricted free agent. On the market, a team's going to pay him.
Yeah.
They're going to pay him a lot, and the Hornets have to think about whether or not they want to match it. If you're the Hornets, are you matching a contract where Miles Bridges is getting paid $24 million? I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
yeah, that's tough.
Especially when you need defense. Bridges isn't giving you what Miles Turner is going to give you defensively.
It's not even that. I just don't know if he's worth $24 million.
That too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah. I mean,
It's tough. The names, it's tough to give up on a 23-year-old, especially when this team is very oriented around young players.
I just think the way they've been going, like trading for Miles Turner, I feel like, yeah, that's gonna solve some problems, but you're still gonna have the same guys next year that were bad on defense the year before.
I don't think LaMelo's bad on defense.
He has to give his effort towards offense.
I don't think he's good.
He's not.
I think he's good on defense.
I don't think he's
I do
great.
think he's
I don't
good
think
on
he's
defense.
great, which is what
I think
Hayward is good on defense.
I think they have stretches where they show you that they're good. I think consistently on a night-to-night basis, the way they score and the amount of the fact that they have to score like that, I don't think they can be good on defense.
I think their real problem is that they're so bad on defense because they don't have any rim protector. So guards and players are just driving in and there's no resistance. If there's a rim protector, yeah, there's now resistance at the rim. Like LaMelo's not a bad defender.
I don't know if rim protection is their only
Hayward's
problem,
not a bad defender. I don't think P.J. Washington's a bad defender. I think Miles Bridges is an okay defender.
What's their problem then outside of defense?
When you're 30th in
Well,
defense,
there you go.
when you're 30, it's not just rim protecting, bro.
The Cavs were
Okay.
one of the worst defenses last year.
But they don't have interior presence.
They have the same personnel outside of Rubio and Evan Mobley who came in. You're telling me Evan Mobley was the only reason they became a
Evan
top
Mobley
defense?
and Jared Allen.
I was going to say
Jared Allen was there last year. And they had a bad defense.
True.
So I don't think I think it's effort. Like, Darius Garland.
that's a big part of it.
Darius Garland, last year you wouldn't think he's a good defender. This year he's really stepped it up. So it's effort, but you need to have rim protectors. Cleveland is a great defense because they have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They have rim protectors. Like every great defense has a rim protector.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's see real quick. Let's look at LaMelo real quick.
Do you think Charlotte becomes a free agent destination if LaMelo continues to ascend?
Not really.
Yeah, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
I feel like it's a unique environment, and if the fact that LaMelo is
wow. LaMelo on the less than 6 feet, 64% defensive field goal percentage. Less than 10 feet, 56%. That's beyond the 3-point line. He does. It's rim protecting, bro.
How many feet you said?
Less than 10 feet.
Okay, that's not. And what's the percentage?
It's 56, and then less than 6 feet is 64.
All right, what's
that is rim protection.
That is rim protection. That is rim protection, King. That's
so
why
it
I was
goes.
wondering.
It goes down.
So 20 around 20.
Just to make
yes.
sure.
And those measurements.
His 3-pointer is they shoot average. It's 35. It's average.
Those measurements are based off of who was the closest defender to this player.
So it's not really him guarding.
I mean, it's him guarding a player, but like, let's say a guard is driving in on LaMelo. LaMelo's the closest player, but if you have a 7-foot guy with a 7'4" wingspan behind LaMelo with his hands up, players are gonna shoot worse.
Well, his in the paint it's terrible, but even on the beyond the 3-point line,
he's not.
Even on the 3-point line, it's average. So he's average.
What I've seen, I think he's a good defender.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. You're 30.
He's averaging 1.9 steals.
Don't do that.
What do you mean don't do
Steph
that?
Curry led the league in steals. You still called him bad.
He's not a bad defender.
No, I'm saying at that time you still called him bad.
I never said that in my life.
Wow.
He's not a bad defender. He's just undersized. But LaMelo has the size.
You gotta
is
stop
Rubio
lying
a
on
bad
my
defender?
name, bro.
I wouldn't say so.
I don't think he's a bad defender. He's not a bad defender. He's a good defender.
What do you guys are you guys taking into fact just overall defense?
What you can do given your size, truthfully.
Don't lie on my name like that, bro.
No, you've definitely said Steph is a bad defender.
He's lying on my name, bro.
I don't know. 30th in the league. We'll
Be
see.
real right now. Is he lying?
He's
It's
lying
about
on my
Steph.
name.
I'm definitely not lying.
I know. That's why I'm skeptical.
Definitely not lying.
You mentioned Rubio. He currently plays for the Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers have been the surprise team of the NBA. JB Bickerstaff is at the forefront of that, coaching this team. What are the odds that he wins Coach of the Year? I'll start with you, Drew.
Right now, I have him at plus 1,000. You got plus 1,000 is not that bad. I gave actual odds. Right now, you actually look it up. He's like plus 1,200.
He is plus 1,200.
So I got him at plus 1,000, given the fact that the Cavaliers should not be in the position they currently are. You have Steve Kerr, who I'd probably have ahead of him. Probably Billy Donovan also. I feel like I'm forgetting one of the team. Oh, Monty Williams. There you go. That's another one that I'd probably put above him. Other than that, I think he's fourth right now. The Cavs.
What was the three? I'm sorry.
So you got Steve Kerr, Monty Williams, and Billy Donovan.
Quinn Snyder? None?
Again, I'm not willing to give Quinn Snyder. We're going to talk about it later, so I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm just going to say I need to see in the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say for now. That being said, the Cavs have been the biggest surprise this season in the best way possible. Sexton went out, and I'm sure Cavs fans weren't the most excited given the fact that Sexton was their number one scorer at least. But then it was an opportunity for Darius Garland that the door was open and he had a chance to seize an opportunity. And he 100% has up until this point, definitely becoming an all-star candidate, no doubt about it. He has taken a leap, not only facilitating the basketball, but more importantly, scoring the basketball, averaging about 19 points per game this season. Sexton going out, his game has just ascended ever since that injury happened. It's unfortunate that it took Sexton's injury for Garland to be unleashed. But then you have Evan Mobley, who has just been not just great, because offensively, sure, Evan Mobley's been fantastic, but even better defensively. You guys just started randomly shitting on defensive rating, but here he is, 101.9 defensive rating. That's top 5 in the NBA.
No, defensive rating is a good stat to measure team performance and 5-man lineups. But individually, it's not a good stat because it's not an individual stat.
I guess
it's like the quarterback. It's like the wins is a quarterback stat for me.
Defensive rating?
I don't think wins is a quarterback stat the same way I don't think defensive rating is a specific player stat.
I'm shocked because I've never ever heard us slander defensive rating up until today.
I'm not slandering defensive rating. It's just not a player
but you understand
stat.
what I'm saying? It's like we haven't.
For example, like
it.
field goal percentage, 3-point percentage. That's a
That's very
specific player
specific,
stat.
yes.
Defensive rating is not because that is measured by when you're on the court with 4 other people. So it doesn't account for
But I feel like
a lot of things.
If you're a big man, defensive rating is more into account than for a regular perimeter player.
I think it's just more about lineups.
Here's a point, though. I think defensive rating for big men is a little bit, you can kind of be a little bit
because they hold it down.
Yeah.
But you pair his defensive rating of 101.9 to Jared Allen's, who's a freak of nature this season. I think he's number 3 right now in defensive rating. Draymond number 1, Rudy Gobert number 2. Jared Allen's been the surprise of the season. 17 points per game, 11 boards per game, 1.5 blocks per game, shooting 70% from the field, shooting 71% from the line for a big man. That's not bad by any means. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that combination where you can have Mobley be a little bit more versatile of a defender, and then Jared Allen's just holding it down in the block. The two of them have made it hell for other teams to come into to drive the ball to the bucket. Those two have been the standouts, and obviously Darius Garland's ascension. I think I would not put Bickerstaff in the Coach of the Year candidacy with the Kerr, with the Billy Donovan, with the Monty Williams, because people were questioning for the Suns. People were questioning whether they could repeat, and they've done more than that. They've been arguably the best team in basketball. Devin Booker's gone out, and we've seen them take a little bit of a step back, but that's their best player offensively. That was bound to happen, but I think once he's back, we're going to see the Suns be the regular Suns that we know. Billy Donovan would be number 2 for me. The Bulls had high expectations once they brought in DeMar, once they brought in Lonzo, that lineup of Lonzo, DeMar, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, rest in peace, Pat Will. Obviously, he's not dead. He's just not playing for the rest of the season. There was some expectations, but not the expectations of them being the number 2 or the number 3 seed in the East, and they have accomplished that. The duo of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan has worked instantaneously. They've been great, so I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Billy Donovan because he's gotten that group of guys to mesh very quickly.
You have Steve Kerr 3?
I'd have Steve Kerr 3. I think that the team has been together for so long. It's not that I'm taking anything away from Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr has been great, yes.
Where are you going with this?
All I'm saying is I've come to expect this out of Golden State.
That entire bench is brand new.
In what sense? I mean,
they're new
really
players. Bielitsa's a new player. Otto Porter's a new player.
Yes, okay.
Kuminga's a new player.
JTA isn't.
Yeah,
JTA isn't. I mean, he was there last year, right?
But the starting line is basically the exact same from last year.
Jordan Poole is taking a huge step, though.
Oh, for sure. And that's credit to Jordan Poole.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but the Warriors have the best record in the NBA right now.
And that's also due to the fact that Devin Booker's gotten hurt.
No, they were above Phoenix. Bro,
but the Suns were cooking.
It was tie game when he went out.
But then they still won that game.
And then they got smoked out.
But because he wasn't there, you're losing 26 points per game.
I mean, they got smoked out, though.
They did. You guys did the thing. Yeah, but you guys have been playing great as a team. You guys have been doing this for years, though.
Not last year.
And last year, I mean, Steph was hurt for a while. But then Steph was in, and you guys are just a different beast.
You talked about the Suns taking a step back. They're 5-2 without Devin Booker. One of those losses was against Golden State.
And they lost to... No, they actually beat the Blazers.
Lost to... I'm blanking. I remember.
I mean, it's just been 2. It's been the Warriors and somebody else.
I'm blanking.
But they're 5-2 without Devin Booker.
Their offensive rating has come down severely.
Yeah, but they're still 5-2.
No, of course. They're a great team as a whole, for sure. Their offensive ratings dropped. That's what I was thinking of.
So okay. What was your ranking?
I probably have Monty Williams number 1. I have number 2, Billy Donovan, number 3, Bickerstaff, number 4, Kerr. Me personally.
Look, Kerr at 4.
Me personally.
Oh my gosh.
Me personally.
You were me personally. Coming from me and Riv, I would understand it because we had Golden State as one of the top teams in the West.
Of course.
You didn't.
What do you mean? I still had them number 4.
But they're 1.
And they're on a 60-win pace.
I understand because defensively they've been different.
All right, look, I think Steve Kerr right now is the odds-on favorite. I think Bickerstaff is 4. Monty Williams, he's done a heck of a job. Warriors, best record in the NBA. Suns, second best record in the NBA. Billy Donovan, the Bulls are second in the East right now, and they've taken a huge jump from when they were last year. Bickerstaff is 4. And I want to give him his flowers because he's been amazing, and he actually has his mantra. He has words that the team uses to describe their play, and they use it as basically the words for their season. It's details, toughness, together, compete, and one more. They have that planted around the locker room, and players use that to, motivate their day-to-day routines. And Kevin Love has said details is the most important word for these young players because young teams lose because they lack those little details, and he thinks details are the most important thing. But those words are plastered around the locker room. He's done a great job. You're right. Jared Allen has been the ascension this year. He is going to be an all-star. Darius Garland, I hope, is an all-star. I hope he doesn't get snubbed. Jared Allen has 8, 20, and 10 games. I mean,
It's crazy.
He has been amazing this year. He has the most blocked dunks in the past 5 seasons. The two people behind him are McGee and Andre Drummond, both former Cavs centers. So Cavalier centers are showing out right now on that list. And Isaac Okoro has been a pleasant surprise. The past 4 games, he's averaged 18.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, shooting 70% from the field and 58% from 3. He's had a bunch of highlight reel dunks. Isaac Okoro has been really good. But I think right now, Bickerstaff is 4th. He should be 4th in this race. I know the Cavs were not expected to do this
By any means.
but you have to have the best record to win Coach of the Year.
But like we had,
or do something outstanding.
I 100% get what you're saying. But
And
in all
all
of
these
our
coaches-
preseason rankings, we had the Cavs bottom 3, and they're
I didn't. I said playing, bro.
all right. We all had their ceiling as being a
I
playing
wouldn't
team.
be surprised
yes,
if they make
but
the
in our
play-in.
final rankings, we had them in our bottom 3.
You might be right.
Yeah, I know.
I'll
I
have-
know I'm right.
I'll have to see.
I said I wouldn't be. I know what I said. I wouldn't be surprised if
Correct.
they make the play.
Correct.
That's what I said.
We all said that their ceiling is a playing team, but we all had them in our bottom 3. So for them to overachieve in this facet, this quickly,
So what's your list?
Steve Kerr is 1. Monty Williams is 2. Billy Donovan is 3.
listen, I
Bickerstaff is 4.
100% understand having Kerr 1, but they've done it.
I have to go based off the Coach of the Year award. You know, I have to go Kerr at 1. Obviously, I'm gonna give some love to every coach. You know, Kerr at 1. Obviously, I think I got Billy at 2. I think what he's done with the narrative around this season was that how is this gonna work? You know, how is DeMar and Zach gonna fit Big Vooch? And I feel like Billy Donovan has, and not only made them fit, but he's gotten outstanding contributions from Javonte Green, Ayo Dosuna, like Derrick Jones Jr. when he came in, Tony Bradley in the spurts he's gotten. So I think you got to show some love. And he's got this team playing defense and being a high-powered offense. So I got Billy at 2 for me. And of course, Monty Williams at 3. You know, people, like you said, the narrative was, are they going to do this? You know, even when Devin Booker went out, they were still winning games. You know, this team is still, they lost 2 straight and then went on like a big.
They started eating.
Yeah, they started. I don't know. I don't remember how many exact games, but it was a lot of games that they won in a row. So you got to put Monty Williams in that top 3. JB at 4 for me, but I feel like, and this is maybe being a little biased, but I feel like JB is 4 for me, but Tyronn Lue is right behind him for me. I feel like with JB Bickerstaff, you have to look at it, and people thought this team would be bad. You know, people. You know, the narrative was, why is he building this big lineup? You know, this big lineup with a bunch of centers and a bunch of big men. And he's turned it around and turned this team into one of the best defensive young teams in the league. You know, this team is young, and he's turned them into one of the best defenses in the league while also being a solid offensive team, you know, middle of the pack offensive team. So I think that's impressive. You know, him having the personnel basically the same as last year, just with a rookie, him having everybody playing hard, like you said, putting all that knowledge into these young players, and Kevin Love also getting that leadership. I think that's cool. But I think, like I said, JB is probably right there, but Tyronn Lue's right behind him because losing Kawhi was big, and he still got this team winning games without Paul George, without Marcus Morris. Like, he's losing guys, but they still win games.
I did have them bottom 3. I had them 13th.
I understand. Listen,
Riv had them 15th.
Yeah.
It's not.
Now I'm playing. You didn't, I don't know what you did.
It's not.
No, I think I had Magic 15.
Nah, you definitely matched.
I wouldn't try to lie on something like that. It's just what our expectations were. They were a year away, at least in my eyes, and they're overachieving and doing it this year.
Yeah,
So they're beyond that.
And it's like they have more wins than the Bulls, who are the number 2 seed.
Hey, 3 games got canceled. Relax.
Exactly that's what I was going to say. Bulls have had their games postponed, but they have more wins than the Bulls. They have 1 less win than the Bucks, but they have the same amount of losses.
Currently, they're on a 5-game win streak, 11-6 at home, 9-7 on the road, 3rd in defensive rating, 2nd in opponents' points per game, and they have won 13 games by 10-plus points this season, which is the most in the East and the most since the 17-18 season for them when LeBron was there. Speaking about LeBron, is there any chance LeBron is looking at this Cavs team and how they're playing and saying, maybe I want to go there next and win one more championship for Cleveland?
No.
That would be insane.
He said he's retiring a Laker. He's gonna retire a Laker. He's gonna retire LA. I personally don't even think this. I think this team doesn't even like. They want to rob their young guys. I think they're cool where they're
It's
at.
LeBron.
Like what
It's
is he
LeBron.
on about? What are you on about?
It's
What are you talking
LeBron.
about?
What do you mean? Like I thought you were about to say like, yeah, we don't need LeBron.
No, I wasn't. Did I say that?
That's what it sounded like you were about to say.
What the hell? That's LeBron, bro. I ain't gonna say that. But
they have a hole at the 3 though.
Who?
The Cavs.
Oh, that Cavs team doesn't fit LeBron.
How so?
Too many bigs. He doesn't do big
What do you
lineups.
mean?
He likes shooters everywhere.
He had AD and Dwight in the same lineup.
Not in for a season in spurts. And
But,
even then, he still had
do it.
shooters next to him. KCP,
But Mobley can stretch,
he's a rookie.
and Garland can facilitate. So you don't really need.
Well, we're not talking about now. It wouldn't be now. He can't get traded. I'm talking about
next season.
LeBron maybe next season or the year after is like, okay, this Cavs team is complete. They need one more player. I'm gonna go join them.
I think he's gonna die at the Lakers, man.
Die a Laker.
I understand what he means. I think he might
retire a Laker.
I think he'll stay a Laker. I mean,
I think it would be fun to watch.
You think so?
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Wow. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'd be hyped.
You'll be a Cleveland fan again?
I said it. Yo,
Yo, you said no. You said you just stick with the Lakers.
I've said if he signs a
so
one-day
he goes
contract,
back to Cleveland. That's sick, bro.
So but let me ask you, if LeBron were to join this young Cavaliers team, not this year, but in like a year or two, do you think they would win a championship?
I
don't know.
I gotta see how the rest of the East rounds out. They have a good chance though. Defensively,
Darius Garland, if he becomes a top 5 point guard, Evan Mobley, an all-star, Jared Allen, an all-star with LeBron James.
Chip could be a chip. What does Brooklyn look like
In 2 years?
Yeah,
Probably split up.
what does Milwaukee look like?
I don't know.
Giannis is still young. They have a high chance, but I'll have to see how the rest of the East rounds out. What do we get another super team?
I don't know. Personally.
Someone who's been competing with LeBron for a while has been Danny Ainge with Boston, trying to create rosters to beat Miami and, created a super team which knocked off LeBron. Danny Ainge has now been signed by the Utah Jazz, and he was announced as the team CEO and alternate governor, which means he's the second most powerful person in the organization behind the guy who owns it. His name is Ryan Smith, I believe. What do you think this does for Utah? Is this a big-time move for Utah? Danny Ainge is somebody who he built the Big Three Celtics. He traded Antoine Walker, who at the time was viewed as a valuable asset. Paul Pierce wanted to get traded. Then he pulled off a trade to get Ray Allen and KG. He traded KG and Pierce to Brooklyn, and that ended up being Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Arguably the greatest trade ever.
He traded Isaiah Thomas after his breakout season to Cleveland for Kyrie Irving, and he's made 62 trades since 2003. 62 trades. So what does this do for the Utah Jazz?
Well, I read the Athletic article. Basically, he's gonna have a lot to say, but he still has to answer to one guy. I think it's the Ryan Smith guy. He still has to answer to him. He doesn't have the final say, but he gets a lot of pull in there. I think this is a good direction for Utah. I think we've seen them last offseason make some really good moves. Hassan Whiteside was a sleeper move. Rudy Gay was a really good move. I think they're still, from what I read from the article, they're still trying to get a premier wing player because we all know Utah, that's their weakest problem right now, having a premier wing. And Danny Ainge is the type of guy that can make that move. He's the type of guy, like you said, you mentioned, you already knocked off his credentials. He has a ring. He's built championship team off top of championship team. He's built that Boston team to what it is today. He's put them in strong contention to win a chip. If not win a chip, be a serious contender almost every year. So he knows how to make moves, the right moves when it's time. And he talked about it. Boston, it was a 16-hour job in day-to-day, and it was stressing him out. But at this job, he's more free. He's more, open. So I think this job will be a little bit more fun. And they're building a solid team out there in Utah, So I think this is a good move. This is somebody who could definitely bring in another guy that can maybe be that third star for Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. They have guys who have big cap, so maybe, they can make a move, pull the trigger, and they can get that wing that really puts them over the top. But Danny Ainge is definitely the guy to do it.
Would you trade Bogey to get that?
Yes.
I mean, this team,
if it's the right guy, yeah.
This team currently is the best team that has been surrounded by Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. This is the best Jazz team with the core of Mitchell and Gobert.
Better than last year's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Rudy Gay, Hassan Whiteside, those additions are huge.
The last year's team was really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Joe Ingles traded. I think Bogdanovich and Joe Ingles are the two guys for me that are most likely going to be on the move to try and get a premier player that can help Utah get over the hump. And I think this move was a great move. Danny Ainge is somebody who knows how to get over the hump. He's a tough negotiator. Sometimes that comes back to bite him because he doesn't want to give up these assets. He could have had AD, but those were all risks. Same thing with Kawhi. Probably could have had Kawhi, but if you're getting Kawhi, you're only getting him for that season. If Toronto loses that chip, that was a major fail for them. And now you traded a guy who was a top 25 player in Jaylen Brown. So that was a huge risk.
AD. Yeah, they needed to trade.
I remember one day they had cap to get KD too. They was in
Boston.
Yeah,
that was the year that KD went to Golden State,
and they had a chance to get LeBron. Well, they had cap to get LeBron one time. He
never would have gone there.
Yeah, of course not.
But I think the Jazz are a couple more pieces away. Not even pieces. I think they're a piece or two away, and I think Danny Ainge is the person that can make a trade to get them to where they want to get to, which is the championship.
Shoot me I don't want to say shoot me like a star type of player in the league that will put them over, like a wing. Like, not saying this is a guy that can get, but like this type of player.
I really don't have one on the top of my head.
You're saying wing is tough.
You were going to say Sabonis?
No.
Oh, God.
Bradley Beal?
No. He's Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell's there.
But Donovan Mitchell's better.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
But you wouldn't bring him in. But you wouldn't bring in Bradley Beal.
What about a Jaylen Brown?
Yeah,
do they need that?
They're not.
I'm saying, would they need like that type of player, or maybe a little bit lower?
I don't think they need that type of player. I think they need Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
I think an Andrew Wiggins can put them in okay, you're legit. They're legit right now, but I think an Andrew Wiggins gives them the defense that they need on the perimeter.
You said premier. That's why my mind immediately went.
They don't need a superstar all-star player.
Okay.
They just need somebody who can guard on the perimeter, hit open shots, and occasionally create their own basket.
And play defense. That is, yeah.
So I'm only sleeping on them as a contender if they don't make any moves. But like you said, Danny Ainge has a track record of just being very, very aggressive in the market. He wants to make that move to put his team over the top. So then I'm going to wait until I see that move happen before I change my stance on Utah. I'm going to be very consistent. Until I see it done in the playoffs, I'm sleeping. I know that Utah is a great team in the regular season, one of the best teams in the NBA in the regular season. I need to see it come playoff time. And until they make that move that really locks them up on all aspects of the game, I'm not ready to say that they're the contender.
Where do you rank them in the West?
I probably would have them in that 3-4 category.
Are they better than the Lakers?
Right now, probably. But come playoff time, I'm taking us.
Of course you are.
You took them over Phoenix, too.
Who? Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I think Utah can beat Phoenix.
Me too.
I don't think so.
I think that's the favorable matchup for them, in my opinion.
But how so? The
Golden State goes small, and they're the most dangerous small ball team in the league.
But we just said the Suns and Utah. That's what we're talking about.
No, I'm saying I think that's their most favorable matchup if they play Phoenix.
I disagree. Because you're saying their weakness is wings. One of the Suns' strengths is their wing players.
But they also play.
Their wing players aren't anything spectacular.
Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder,
Phoenix
Cam
is
Johnson.
Play the Utah strength, so they'll be able to use Gobert more, a lot more.
You realize what you just named.
What did you name?
I said we're talking wing players, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and Cam Johnson.
You could have stopped at Bridges. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Mikal Bridges is a 3-and-D player. He's an excellent perimeter defender.
Correct.
But he's not somebody who
puts
fear in my heart as a defender.
No. Listen, the reason why that's wrong
as me defending him.
Yeah, Bridges
is fear him.
Okay.
The reason why that matchup is because Bridges isn't a Kawhi. He isn't a Paul George. He's in a LeBron. That's why Utah struggles because those
guys don't have.
Rose O'Neal can't guard them. He can guard Bridges.
I'm not worried about the offense for the Suns. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Ayton have that covered. And the fact that Mikal, Jay Crowder, and Cam can hit their outside jumpers, all you need them to do is clamp up on defense. And they will.
That's why that's a favorable matchup because what killed Utah is the fact that teams go small and they couldn't guard on the wing. Bridges is a spot up shooter right now. You don't have to have an elite guy guard him. Your backcourt is going to go match up with their backcourt, and Rudy Gobert is going to go guard DeAndre Ayton. That's a favorable matchup in terms of you play the Lakers. Now you have to guard LeBron.
But I feel like they're exactly the same team except the Suns wings are better.
Bogey is Bogdanovich is better than Cameron Johnson and Jay Crowder.
Yes.
Joe Ingles is better than Cameron Johnson, and he's probably on the same level as Jay Crowder.
Jordan Clarkson is better than anybody on the Suns bench.
That's literally their favorable matchup.
And now the Jazz do have a small ball lineup because Rudy Gay is there now.
Like that, like I don't know what you're talking about. Phoenix.
I mean, come on. The Phoenix have 5 losses this season. I think 4.
Oh no, listen.
They're legit, but I think
Utah wants that. That's the best matchup for them.
Utah can beat Phoenix. I think that's a 7-game series, though. They can beat them, though.
So then Utah can't beat the Warriors is the only team.
That's the only team that I'm like,
that's
I'm
a bad
picking the
matchup
Warriors.
for them.
It is.
I mean, Warriors are my team to make it out the West.
I just think the Suns are better.
I personally even think you guys are a bad matchup.
think they're
if you're
better
healthy,
coached
I
as
think
well.
you guys are a bad matchup for them too.
I do. I think that as well.
Like I think teams that
But
go
that's why
small.
I said come playoff time, I'm taking the Lakers.
You mean with Melo at the 5?
AD.
Yeah, AD would have to play the 5, but God willing, he didn't tear his ACL.
They said it's a knee sprain.
All right, best case scenario.
No, it's not because he's still gonna be out for 7 months.
As long as he's healthy for playoff time.
Look, the lineups I saw from the Lakers yesterday.
Atrocious. Didn't they have Rondo, IT, and
Can we not
Westbrook
talk
out there?
about?
Yes.
We're gonna talk about it later. We're gonna talk about it later. That's it.
Oh my gosh,
talk about it
bro.
later.
I think the Jazz. I think this move could take them over the hump. We'll see if Danny Ainge makes any moves. The Lakers recently signed Isaiah Thomas, and Isaiah Thomas is trying to make a comeback to his career right now. He dropped 42 points and 8 assists in his G League debut after weeks and episodes of Riff slandering him and saying he won't be back in the league, laughing. You laughed at Isaiah Thomas. And I'm going to take control of this because I'm very passionate about this topic.
Cool with it.
Isaiah Thomas, in his NBA debut, he signed a 10-day contract with the Lakers. 19 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. Shot 5 for 12 and 2 for 6 from 3. I tweeted it out. I said, he's got the same burst. IT is back. Isaiah Thomas is back. And I'm glad that he's back because, for one, he's been on such a tough journey. And him getting back and coming back from that hip injury was just marvelous for him to do. Danny Ainge trading him was one of the more despicable moves that I've seen in NBA history. Just no regard for what this guy did for your team, for your franchise. Isaiah Thomas drops 50 points in the playoffs the day after his sister died, and then you trade him after the playoffs are done. He played hurt for your franchise, and you trade him. That's one of the more despicable moves I've ever seen. That's why AD's father didn't want AD to go to the Celtics, because that was just cold. That was cold-blooded. Isaiah Thomas went on All the Smoke and said, I never fully recovered from my hip injury, because when he got it in Boston, he got a minor surgery, I think, to help him through the process in Cleveland, but he was still hurt. He needed his hip to get replaced. He didn't get his hip replaced. So in Cleveland, he was never 100%. It wasn't until now that he said, I got my metal hip, and now I'm 100%. And it showed. I mean, this guy looks like he can come and sign with the Knicks and drop 20 a game. Like, Isaiah Thomas looks like he has that same burst, and I'm happy for him. Just his journey, what he's been through. I'm excited for him and what he's going to do. I hope that he stays with the Lakers. If he doesn't, then he can go somewhere else and make an impact there. But right now, he's showing the NBA world he can still play. Against all odds, being 5'9", he's been doubted his entire life. In college, hitting game winners, then being the last pick in the draft. As a last pick in the draft, his career averages are 18 points per game and 5 assists. That is unheard of. He is the best 5'9" player to play in NBA history. He's the only 5'9" player we're ever going to see in our lifetimes average 29 points per game in a season. His 16-17 season was flat out spectacular, and short people got to stay together, bro. Isaiah Thomas is 5'9". He's the best 5'9" basketball player ever. Kendrick Lamar, he's 5'5". He's one of the best rappers ever. Kevin Hart is 5'4". He's one of the best comedians ever. Tom Holland, he just got Zendaya. He's Spider-Man. And he's like 5'6", 5'7". He's one of the best actors ever. Then you have Joel Moran. He's one of the best podcasters ever. So I'm honored to be in that bracket with them. I'm honored 100%. To be mentioned with those list of names. And we got to stick together. So Isaiah Thomas, I'm rooting for him the same way I root for Kevin Hart when he drops a special. Kendrick when he drops an album, Tom Holland when he drops a movie, I'm going to watch it very soon. And Isaiah Thomas when he's making a comeback towards his NBA career, I'm supporting.
Top of the morning.
And you
oh, God.
were so disrespectful to Isaiah Thomas. It was despicable.
I just think he's overrated. 5'9".
How can you be overrated at 5'9", bro?
He would give you 40.
He would drop you also.
Probably. You know what? You
He'd
guys
laugh.
are probably right. Yeah, he probably would laugh. I just think like in the NBA, like you're not gonna win with a 5'9" guy being the best player on your team, you know. But that's not a here or there. Let's just talk about his performance. Let's get to the now. Let's talk about how he did have a good debut. I'm not gonna sit here and hate. You know, unlike you, young man, I can admit when I've been proven wrong.
Fibbed.
Yeah, I didn't lie. I just was proven wrong. And as of right now, he's proven me wrong. He hit the minutes he got. It was impressive. You know, he did look like he had the same burst. He looked like he had the same moves. Even the 40-point game in the G League, it was embarrassing. Like he was just playing with them. Like he just looked like he shouldn't have even belonged there at all. And then in the league, he came in. You know, he did his thing. Granted, they lost, but he was one of the bright spots of that night for the Lakers because it wasn't many. They suck, but he did his thing, and I hope he does show us. I want to see it. Let's take the 10-day because they need help. Let's take the 10-day contract off. Let's just plug him in.
Get
Come
outta
off the
here with
bench.
this
No, you guys need
nonsense.
help. Let's plug him on the bench. Let's see what he can do for a full season because I want to be proven wrong. Honestly, I want to see if he can do this consistently. You said he got his burst back. I seen him get his burst back. He said he's finally healthy 100%. Okay, fine. So you wasn't healthy in Washington. You wasn't healthy in Cleveland. Fair. I'll
Nope,
give
he
you
wasn't.
that. That's fine. Now let's see. Earn these now because now you're in a position where now you got to earn your spot in the NBA. You don't. This ain't no freebie league. You got to earn your spot. So now you're on the 10-day. So let's see if he can continue to earn
trust me, he's done it before. He's earned his spot before. When he was a 60th pick in the draft in the second round by the
my
Sacramento Kings.
God.
They drafted Jimmer Fredette with the top 10 pick, and guess what? Isaiah Thomas outplayed him, and he earned his spot. Isaiah Thomas has earned his spot everywhere he's been. He went to Phoenix. Off the bench, he was great. Got traded to Boston. When he got traded to Boston, they were in a full rebuild. Why didn't they fully rebuild? Because Isaiah Thomas led them to the playoffs year in and year out and was their best player and had one of the most marvelous seasons we'll ever see in the history of the game. Isaiah Thomas has proven everybody wrong every step of the way, and he's going to prove you wrong too. Like he did already.
One game doesn't really.
Last show, you literally said he'll never be in the league. 1 week later, he's back in the league.
It wasn't even 1 week. It was like a month. We said that a month ago. It's cool though. We'll see.
I don't know how to feel about IT personally.
And he's on your team.
Exactly why I don't know how to feel about him.
How do you feel about Rondo? Okay, then you should feel excited about IT.
You think so?
Has Rondo scored 10 points all year?
No, but he gets his rebounds, he gets his assists, like he does his job off the bench. I do think we need a bench piece that could give us offensive output, and if IT's going to do that for us, I'm more than with it. He's going to cook a second team for sure. First team, that's where my questions is. I don't expect him to see too many first team opportunities going against the other team's first team, but if he gets to a point where he's frying them up, then we'll start to see. You know, I wouldn't be too opposed to him running with the ones.
How is he going to run with the ones?
But I'm just saying, like, in the stretch of a game where he's cooking more so than someone who was originally starting the game, it's just the feng shui of a game. No, not Westbrook. Westbrook's been doing his thing. I don't know why you're slandering Westbrook.
No, I'm saying because that would be he can't play the
yeah,
two.
I was like, who?
IT cannot play the two,
They had him out there.
Yeah, I was going to say,
last
why
night.
can't he play the two?
and you saw that.
Why can't he play the two?
Well, first of all, he's 5'9".
Okay, I
Second of all,
understand.
he's not good on defense. Third of all, you rolled out a lineup of IT,
He isn't,
Rondo,
but
and
you can-
Westbrook.
you can-
I don't know.
you
He
can
looked
shade
good on
him.
defense. He had a block on Nas Reed. You saw that? He got up for that.
But
He
can still-
played good on defense last night.
You could shade him a little bit on defense. The only
What's your defensive team right now?
That was what I was going to say. Our defense right now is sketchy, and we can't have any type of liability on defense when we have a bunch of them already. And if AD is going to miss time, we're even more screwed defensively. So I don't know. That's why I have my doubts, but I'm optimistic. He had a really great performance last night for it being his debut. 19 points, leading our team in points. You take that 10 times out of 10.
We need to stop acting like this is his
I
debut
know.
rookie
Well, this-
year.
but
Like,
it was his
he
return.
done been here, man. Like he know what the league is, man.
I understand, but no one expected IT to lead the Lakers in points last night, regardless of how it happened.
That
It
is a good
happened.
point,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And you
So-
watch him play on a left wing, pump fake, side step, 3-point
Yo,
shot.
that was nice.
That was
Nothing
fire.
but net.
That move was crazy.
The floaters that he had, it felt like the basketball guys were leaning towards that
Man,
floaters.
that move,
Nothing
that
but net.
sidestep move was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's what I hit you with.
Come on, man. Come on.
He said, "Come on, man." He swears he's a great defender, bro.
That's what apparently we're
That's
on
what
the street.
people be telling. That's what you
we're-
mean? It's-
we're on the
I
street.
don't talk about people.
What's your
talk about
defensive rating?
like a 102, respectfully.
All right, in 2K though, like what's your on ball?
91.
Oof, my
Post
God.
defense is like a 55 though.
Oh,
In
yeah,
real
you
life,
getting
what's your on-ball defense rating?
Like a 91.
You think it's that? I feel like his is like a 78.
91's high, bro.
91. I really locked down, but my post is like a 55. Like it's really bad.
So on the perimeter, no one's touching you?
On the perimeter, I can stop a lot of dudes. Steals is like an 81.
Okay.
Blocks is like a
What
60.
about
though.
your reflections or
Deflections?
deflections, yeah.
Nah, I'm more of like a man-to-man, so probably like a 68. I'm really a pest, menace.
Okay, I like
those
that.
badges.
What's your shot contest at?
Oh, like a 88, 89.
I saw a picture of him contesting a shot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was like,
Only picture I saw of Riv, he was taking the ball up the court.
Yeah. Point guard.
he plays like George Hill.
Nah, George Hill can shoot.
You can't. Facts.
Nah, not threes, man.
You a mid-range shooter?
You Caruso?
Fuck no. Oh, excuse me. No.
Apparently we could curse nowadays, but you just can't go overboard.
I'm like Rondo, Boston.
Rondo.
I mean, these episodes aren't monetized on YouTube.
Okay.
At like the full episodes, the full-length episodes, they're not monetized on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm like
Because I know we curse and I don't want to get
I'm like
demonetized.
Boston Rondo.
You're like Boston Rondo?
Yeah.
You be getting assists, rebounds.
Yeah, Diamond.
You're a playmaker?
Yeah. Playmaking.
If he
lay
can't
the-
shoot, bro, he's got to do something.
Playmaking, lay the ball up, bro.
What's your
You know what you're thinking?
What's
You're
your
thinking of
finishing?
me as the old player. That's what it is, bro.
What's your finishing,
I
bro?
don't do that no more. Finishing? Like an 83.
Yo, he's
Oh, what you mean? This
Impressive.
Is Park. You know what I'm saying? I
Impressive.
ain't thinking like like this ain't NBA. Like
I'm a 61.
yeah, that's Park.
61. Oh, my God. Isaiah Thomas, man, proving the world wrong right now.
Let's hope, man. I pray. We need some right now. Even still, we're 16-14. Like, we're not what I wanted, clearly. That being said,
You wanted 61, 65 wins?
65.
That was really the dumbest
But we just
thing
haven't
you've
been
ever
healthy
said.
together. But when we're all healthy together, we play really good basketball. It's just one or the other's out, and it sucks. But God willing, we get together towards the end of the season. We make a run. We make it happen.
Something that you're hoping you're going to be right about as the season progresses
And I slightly have been.
are the Washington Wizards.
There we
The
go.
Washington Wizards started out 10-3 to begin the season, and since then they are on a 4-game losing streak. They have lost 7 of their 8. They are 8-4 at home and 7-11 on the road. 1-6 in their last 7 road games. And upcoming next, they have the Jazz on the road, the Nets on the road, the Knicks on the road.
Maybe.
What do you think about the Wizards? Were they frauds all along? I'll let you start, Drew.
They are who we thought they were. Right now, they rank 23rd offensive rating, 20th in defensive rating, and this all-world Montrezl Harrell, right, averaging 18 points a game, slowly but surely getting back to what we were expecting, that 14, 15, I think he's averaging 14.5. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Just getting back to what Trez, we know who he is. That what he's showing these last couple of games is who Trez is. We're seeing Kyle Kuzma get back to the play that we've grown accustomed to over these last couple of years, shooting 42% from the field, 34% from 3. Dinwiddie, another player who has struggled, and that's the biggest surprise for me personally. I thought Dinwiddie would be a little bit better up until this point. He has not been shooting below 40% from the field, shooting 33% from the three-point range. He's averaging under 13 points per game. That's been a huge surprise for me. And Bradley Beal, his efficiency this year just hasn't been there. And what was really at the forefront of this team's success early on was their defense. And slowly but surely, their defense has just not been what it was earlier this year. What I'm going to attest this to was a team with players that are mediocre, slightly above maybe, got off to a really hot start. And when you're in the NBA, you get hot. You're in the NBA for a reason. You have stretches where you play really, really well, but eventually reality hits and you play to the expectation of what everyone had thought you were going to play like coming into the season. I was not high on the Wizards. I thought that the trade between Russ, they got a bunch of whatever players, and I really wasn't thinking anything of it. I thought Bradley Beal would be out of there come trade deadline. He needs to understand that his time with Washington Wizards is not going to benefit his career. And to the help of, or to the credit of the rest of the guys on this team, Bradley Beal hasn't been playing his absolute best. So all around, the Wizards have just looked very, very shady. Of course, at the beginning of the season, they were playing very, very well, and I looked like I didn't know what I was talking about, but I let time play, take its course, and the Wizards are looking as I had expected. Defensively, they're falling off, and offensively, there's no one that's playing consistent at all.
These last 8 games are what has been derailing the Wizards. Look at Dinwiddie. He's averaging 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in the last 8 games, shooting 34% from the field and 21% from 3. Montrezl Harrell is averaging 9 points, 6 rebounds, and shooting 51% from the field in the last 8 games. And that's usually at 64%. He shoots 64% at from the field. I know what you're saying. For this season. I think Montrezl Harrell is going to pick it up. I'm not totally out on the Wizards just yet. Spencer Dinwiddie is the guy who has to play better, but 100%. To his credit, he doesn't feel like he's finding a rhythm because, in his own words, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that the team, it's Bradley Beal and it's everybody else. Yeah. So it's Bradley Beal and everybody else gets an equal slice of the pie instead of it being Beal and Dinwiddie. And Wes Unseld Jr. said Beal and Dinwiddie have to get on the right page for us to have success. And he thinks they defer to each other too much. We've got to find a balance where they can both stay aggressive, not only to score, but to play make. The Wizards are 3-0 without Bradley Beal this season. Granted, it's been against the Pelicans, Orlando, and Indiana. They're not good teams, but they've played much better because I think Bradley Beal ices possessions because he's such an ISO-centric player, and he's a ball-dominant player. Beal doesn't have the greatest handle in the world. He's not the best playmaker. He's an average playmaker at best, and that hurts the team a lot. Part of our concerns about the Wizards before the season, when Keith was on the show, we talked about it, we laughed about it. Who's going to play make for the Wizards? They don't have any playmaker. They don't have a true point guard. Dinwiddie is a scoring guard. He's not a true point guard. Beal is not a playmaker. Right now, we see that that's playing them right now. And I just want to take a victory lap on Bradley Beal right now because Bradley Beal is somebody who I've called overrated for the past 2 seasons, but because he's averaging 30 and leading the league in scoring some weeks and all this and all that, how can he possibly be overrated? How can he not be a top 15 or 20 player in the NBA? Well, yeah, Beal was averaging 30 because he was on a team with virtually nobody. But now, once you see that Bradley Beal is surrounded by okay NBA talent, not even outstanding NBA talent, he's still the first option on his team. He just has other options that are okay now. He's down to 22 points per game on the season, shooting career lows because Bradley Beal is somebody who scored so much because he took so much shots, not because he was that great of a player. And that's what my point. Before the season, because Beal came off that year out averaging 30, some people had Beal over Devin Booker. They had Bradley Beal over Zach LaVine. They had Bradley Beal over Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, these guys. Bradley Beal's not a top 5 shooting guard in the NBA. James Harden and Kyrie are both better. Whoever you want to slide at the 2, they're both better. Donovan Mitchell is better. Zach LaVine is better. Devin Booker is better. And Jaylen Brown is better. Bradley Beal's not a top 5 point guard. He fooled all of you guys. Bradley Beal fooled you guys with his back-to-back 30-point seasons. He fooled you guys because he took a lot of shots and he got a lot of points because of it. But in reality, Bradley Beal has always been a 22 to 24 point per game scorer when he's surrounded by okay NBA players. And right now, the Wizards and Wizards fans are growing tired of the fact that Beal is failing to coexist with another point guard again. With John Wall, it happened. He couldn't coexist with John Wall. They had chemistry issues all the time. With Russell Westbrook, his lone season, the Wizards didn't start winning until Russell Westbrook took the mantle and said, okay, I'm going to start carrying now. Beal still did amazing, but Russell Westbrook took on those ball-handling responsibilities, and that's why they started winning. Now with Dinwiddie, here's another point guard that can't fit with Bradley Beal because, it's hard enough for 2 guards to fit with each other. You have to complement each other's games really well. But this is yet another guard who is failing to fit with Bradley Beal. At some point, you can't look at these guys and say they're the problem. You got to look at Bradley Beal and say he's the problem. Bradley Beal has been an overrated player for the past couple of seasons, and now it's finally showing.
All right, well, you said a lot. Damn, you said damn near everything. Washington, you touched on a lot of things. I just want to go into Washington just for a little bit, just the team in general. This team just isn't a good offensive team. Aside from, you look at their numbers, 27th in 3-point percentage, 5th in 2-point percentage, so that's good. 19th in free throw percentage. This team is just not that efficient, And like you said, the defense that was so good in the beginning of the season, it hasn't been good. You look at these players. I remember, and like you said, Bradley Beal, it's hard enough when you have a backcourt and you expect them to be prolific. You need guys to mask the other guy's weakness. Steph and Klay, they work so well because Klay plays defense. Steph's not that good on defense. Steph is a great ball handler. Klay's not a great ball handler. They complement each other. The reason why Dame and CJ don't really, because they both do the same things well, but they both have the same weaknesses. The same with Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal. They both have the same weaknesses. Not that great, playmakers. Both are not that great defenders. It's the same thing. Both are kind of iso-centric. Bradley Beal, like you said, his numbers don't look great. And we need to, this year I expected Bradley Beal to take that next step. Like, yo, this is a good team. Lead them to the playoffs. We expect this of you. You have been put on this pedestal that you're that type of guy. Lead them. And right now they're in the playoffs, but they're stumbling. I remember when you guys told me Spencer Dinwiddie and Gordon Hayward were on the same level. I really, really laughed at you guys because it was really insane.
Whoa. You guys?
No. Really, well, JC's not here, but I'm going to speak to his ghost. I really, you guys really told me they were on the same level. I tried to tell you, no, they're not. And Spencer Dinwiddie's showing you he's
a regular dude.
It's just a bad stretch, bro.
Yeah,
they are on the same level.
I don't know, bro. This whole season he's been mid.
Listen.
He's had his moments.
He averages 13 points a game right now.
Less than.
I rounded it.
You're generous.
Yeah, it was 12.8. I'm around
all right,
it.
you're not 13.
So he averaged 13 points per game right now. Maybe he might kick up. Maybe he might not. Right now, he's not on Hayward's level right now. And I tried to explain.
Right.
Dinwiddie fooled you guys.
You'll win the battle. You won't win the war. Because at the end of the year, they're going to average around the same points.
Oh, my. Bro, he's going to have to turn up.
He is going to turn up.
He's almost at 20, Gordon Hayward.
Dinwiddie's going to turn up sooner rather than later, bro. Trust.
All right.
The reason why I was so passionate about that Bradley Beal thing was because last year I said Bradley Beal wasn't a top 15 player despite averaging 30 points per game. And everybody clowned it and said it was a bad take. They told me, how is Paul George better than Beal? How is Jimmy Butler better than Beal? Well, that's because you're only looking at points. And you only measure the game by that. You're a box score watcher. Because when you watch the actual games, there's no way you can possibly think Beal is better than PG or Jimmy Butler. Bradley Beal is an overrated player. The Wizards shouldn't pay him. They shouldn't extend him because he's a replaceable player. His wife called out this podcast, and a Wizards beat reporter called out our podcast as well. And she's like, who are these guys saying Beal isn't a superstar? And then she was like, Ray Allen is better than Bradley Beal. Ray Allen she said Bradley Beal was better than Ray Allen.
What the?
Like, she said that. And because I said that Bradley Beal is not a superstar. He's like a Ray Allen guy. He's like a tier below. But I'm talking about Ray Allen like in Boston because we know with the Sonics and
a freak.
With the Bucks, he was a dog. And then she was like, Beal is just as good as Ray Allen. Like, yo, you don't watch basketball because Ray Allen was by far better than Beal. It wasn't even close. And now Bradley Beal is showing everybody his true colors. And yet again, another year, he's going to start complaining again, going to start pouting. And you had a chance to leave a while ago, bro. And you're still in Washington. It's his fault that the Wizards, I think he deserves most of the blame for the Wizards struggling. I do. And I think he has to figure out what he wants to be. Do you want to win and have your averages go down, or do you want to lose and be a high volume scorer? It's up to him. And he's taking a ladder.
I think he's made that choice.
But then you have to keep that same energy towards Dame. Then Dame hasn't had the same efficiencies that he's had in the past.
It's different because Dame has made a Western Conference Finals, and Portland has made the playoffs 8 straight seasons.
Bradley Beal hasn't made the playoffs
since John Wall got injured until Russell Westbrook came.
I'm not disagreeing with your Bradley Beal point at all. I'm just saying then we have to keep that same energy.
Dame's resume is a lot better than
I agree,
Beal's.
but we're talking off this season because Dame could have left this offseason. He easily could have.
Well, Beal's been saying he wants to leave for the past 3 seasons.
Has he been saying he's wanted to leave?
Not saying he wants to leave, but Beal keeps saying he wants to win. Let me say that. He's been saying he wants to win for the past 3 seasons, and you're not dumb. You know you can't win in Washington. Like, there's no way.
When we did the top 20 players, like we named 20 players better than Bradley Beal. You know who we didn't even name? Ja Moran, who's taking a huge leap this year.
You're taking Ja over him clean?
Easily. I'm taking Ja Moran over Bradley Beal easily. I'm taking LaMelo over Bradley Beal easily.
So then are you taking Garland over?
I'm taking Anthony Edwards is better than Bradley Beal.
Are you taking Garland over Bradley Beal?
Not yet. But you mentioned Ant. I didn't even mention Ant.
At the time, I don't think it was ready.
Beal is not a top 6 shooting guard in the NBA. Devin Booker's better. Zach LaVine's better. Donovan Mitchell's better. Jaylen Brown's better. James Harden, Kyrie. Anthony Edwards is better.
SGA of Beal.
I'm taking SGA over Bradley Beal.
I'm not ready.
Bradley Beal has slipped
At
up.
the end of the season, SGA got it maybe.
SGA's a dog.
Like
He is nasty.
that's how overrated Bradley Beal is, though. Like people think he's in this tier. OKC, they win with Shea. He went 16 and 19, and that roster is a laughing stock.
It's not good.
So Beal, he's been an overrated guy for I've been preaching it. I've been preaching it to no audience. But now
Got it.
we got it. Now we got Beal. Like, we got you. We got you struggling. We got you. He was balling last year. I couldn't really say it with an emphasis, but now he's averaging 22. I got you. Now there's nothing you can say.
27% from the
He's been bad. Yeah, he's like
3-point line.
He's like 43 from the field, right?
45.
Okay.
That's been a 3-year take, bro. That people have been hating on because he averages so much points.
This team stinks.
Oh, bro, it's horrible. It's horrible.
And they're still better than the Lakers.
And the Pacers.
Now I'm playing.
Come on now. Pacers.
They're better than your
close.
Pacers.
Close.
They are better than the Pacers.
Yeah,
way
on
better than your
paper right
Pacers.
now because they were hot early. Wait till my Pacers get hot.
What?
Wait.
Oh, God. Do you think Washington doesn't make the playoffs?
I think they're a playing team.
They're a playing team.
Playing team. Yeah.
Actually, give me a sec, and then we end it. Let me see, honestly.
That's tough, man. Washington, it's just, man. Just Kuzma's inconsistent.
Sixers will make it over them because the Sixers are 8th. Hawks are 9th. Celtics are 10th, maybe.
Damn. Knicks are 11th, right?
And the Raptors are 11th. Knicks are 12th.
Oh, my God. Yeah, stink.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to say Wizards don't make it.
Okay.
They don't make it.
Don't make it like playing?
They don't make the play-in.
Who?
He said the Wizards don't make the play-in.
Okay. I'll say this, though. To start the show, we talked about Kyrie. He has entered health and safety protocols.
I think it's like what Seb told me, it was like a precaution. He has to like pass the 5 days.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But this is going to do it for episode 138 of the Pick a Side Podcast. You guys can follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. And a quick happy birthday to Andrew. Make sure you drop happy birthday in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.